bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, and hot topics. So, if that is a show for you, hold on, because I'm noticing like it is. Why is this thing moving so? Like my mouth look like I'm on a weird situation. Let me go out and right. Okay, so hopefully this is better. I don't know why it was moving a little slow, whatever. But anyway, so we're back. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture and hot topics. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we got to talk about the latest tally on this Michael box office. It definitely defied expectations and even beat a couple of other biopics that have come out in the past, including Bohemian Rhapsody. We also got to talk about Michael's relationship with his father before his death. We also need to talk about this Megan Thee Stallion Klay breakup. Also, rumors are swirling that Nicki Minaj done sent Kenneth Penny packing that he back in Queens because you know every time he move, he gotta register with the whole sex offender situation. I got the receipts. Plus, we gotta talk about Joseline Hernandez out here saying that Lemmy over at Zeus trying to kill her, that she's going through it right now, that he's making her life a living hell and why she may not have a dog to fight in this situation. I got all the receipts. Plus, we're going to talk about Donta as she has debuted two new songs. She was over at the Abbey this weekend. Plus, I have the latest on when she's finally going to release that new single with her and Sabrina Carpenter. She has given a date. Warner Brothers gave a date. She gave a date. Everybody who's a Madonna fan gave a date. So we'll talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about the latest in Cher's bid for her son to be in a conservatorship. I have some bad news for Miss Sherilyn. Also, Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel's marriage might be on the brink. We got some tea regarding that. Also, this Britney Spears life or death crisis on what made her actually want to go to rehab. We touched on it a while ago, but we got some more details on it. Plus, speaking of conservatorships, we got to talk about the latest on Wendy Williams. How you doing? And we have some tea regarding there was a fundraiser over in Brooklyn where a bunch of drag queens and kings were mocking MAGA figures and how much money they actually made in for the ACLU basically how much money they raised. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. um Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather today. I was gonna call out and be like, I can't do a show today. But I was like, no, I can't do that. So I'm gonna just push through. I did take some Mucinex this morning, the day pills. There's the day pills and there's the evening pills. So I took the day ones, feeling a little drowsy. I don't know. I was working a double header yesterday for the Mets, which they've been losing. Shocker. Um, and left there, came back, and then all of a sudden, as I was on my way home, I noticed my throat started getting sore, and I'm like, please do not tell me I'm getting sick because this it's just been a crazy weather change. Like today, it's 66 degrees outside. Yesterday, it was just freezing cold. The day before, it was raining. It's like, come on, I need y'all to get it together with this damn climate. But anyway, enough of that. Let me put the comments and stuff in the room. Carlos Rodriguez says hi. I did a whole video on it the other day. The problem is the video is 45 minutes. I was thinking about uploading it, but I'm gonna go through it again when I bring up the I'm gonna just give like a quick synopsis when I talk about the box office and my overall thoughts. So I guess stick around for that. But anyway, yeah, so I got that. And without further ado, Wait, hold on, because I got to make sure I gotta let me trying some new things today because I'm sure that this thing is gonna be freezing up and I can't afford that crap to be still happening. So I gotta find ways of getting around the things from freezing. But anyway, so me at the banner. Without further ado, let's talk about box office. So it looks like Michael has exceeded expectations, even though the critics gave it like I don't even know what number it's at, but I remember the last time was like what 31 score on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't really go by Rotten Tomatoes. I usually just go by what my overall thoughts are on a movie. Like I'll watch something and I'll determine how I feel about it. So yeah, the critics were going in. They didn't like how the film was turning out, whatever the case was. They had their trepidations. For me, I will say this because for those who weren't there the first time when I talked about the Michael movie, the performances are good. As in, when you watch someone like the young boy, I don't know who the kid name is, but the one who played a young Michael Jackson, I thought he did a phenomenal job as that young Michael Jackson. I would have liked to have seen them explore that side a little more, but they didn't. I just felt like the problem with the movie was they just glossed through everything. This happened, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and not one time when you were showing things that will happen, y'all will focus enough on that thing to keep us interested. But what you did was you basically took the movie and you focused on, oh well, let's just put a bunch of performances in there and play the music so that way people it takes them back to a time when they were younger or whatever the case was and you were nostalgia baiting and to distract from the fact that once the music stopped, once the performances stopped, there lied the problem, which was a weak one note script. And Jafar, like I said, Jafar Jackson, I thought did a great job as Michael, bringing some of those, even though his character was written very one note, they didn't give him much to do. But whatever he was given, he did what he could with what he had and brought a little nuance and emotion to playing Michael. I would have liked to have seen a lot more of the Michael with the perfectionism and how he was. Because look, child, first of all, he's a Virgo. And if anybody knows Virgos, it's me. And we definitely focus heavily on perfection. We are perfectionists to a fault to the point where people hate us because we're so damn we're such perfectionists. So, and I'm very much on that. It's like if any little minute situation's out of place, I do bitch and moan about it. So, or I'm like, fuck it, move to the side. I'm gonna handle it myself because you're not getting it the way. So we could be a little anal in a lot of ways when it comes to the perfectionism side, which I know is like a blessing and a curse. So I would like to focus on that. Also, like you had the whole Jackson 5 situation when Michael decided to go off on his own. I would have liked for them to have focused on Michael and his relationship with his brothers and the fact that yeah there was jealousy amongst the brothers when Michael went off because Michael was an anomaly. He was the genius in being creative in that creative process and how he came up with the being inspired by film and basically taking the whole movie thing and bringing it into music videos. He was the one that pioneered that. So just getting into that plus focusing more on the racism that he endured dealing with MTV. MTV refused to play black artists back in the day. And then I remember there was an interview where David Bowie went in and complained to MTV the lack of black talent they were putting on their channel. And then we see the little scene where Mike Myers, Mike Myers from SNL, playing another mogul in a movie, gets on the phone and threatens the head of MTV, if you don't play your music, I'm pulling all my artists. And so I don't know if that was factual, how all that went down, but it was a cute little moment. And then it was like, Latoya, you would think like if you ain't know nothing about the Jacksons, that Catherine only had one daughter because Rebe wasn't in it and Janet wasn't in it. And I get it that Janet didn't want no parts of this movie, and neither did Paris, which I would think that you would think that, okay, now Janet respectfully declined and Paris has come out and said some disparaging things about this movie because Coleman Domingo was some the family's all for it. She was like, oh no, bitch, maybe Prince and Blanket is, but don't put my name up in this situation because I'm not 110% for this movie. For whatever reason, how she feel, that's on her. But I would think that I would listen to the siblings, but of course, people are gonna be, oh, she a hater. I'm like, how's she a hater? That's his fucking daughter. And she's yes financially compensated from being his child. But if that's my father, I definitely want to be having trepidations, especially how they're gonna present him. And Michael was not this little perfectionist with Peter Pan syndrome. Yes, I know that played into the fact of he didn't have a childhood, that he was since the age of 6, that he had to go out there and perform and work and do all these other things. He never really got to interact with kids his age. And then he did, and then when he would be around kids his age, they weren't interested in being his friend. They wanted to be in close proximity to a Michael Jackson. So he connected more with animals than he did with kids. And don't even get me started on that horrible CGI bubbles that they had up in the movie. So there was like little things nitpicking. I also think they should have ended the movie how it started, which was a reshoot. Because initially it was supposed to start with the lights on in the background, the police was coming to raid the house on the SA allegations for the 90s. Then it was supposed to transport us back to when he was in the Jackson 5 in the 60s. And then the last third act was supposed to be the whole trial or whatever, but because of the whole clause, which they didn't read with Jordan Chandler, they had to scrap it. And so then they decided to do the Bohemian Rhapsody trick, which was let's just flood the movie with musical performances and we get a whole 30-minute concert. I'm like, first of all, it should have started the way it ended, meaning that we saw the back of Michael Jackson with the hair, with the wig on, when he's about to go out and perform bad. It should have ended the same way when he's about to head on out to the stage and bet that doom, 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 doom. As soon as that come on, credits should have rolled. Yo, bud is mine. And we could have all been up in the theater just singing along and tapping our feet and singing bad. We could have all been doing that. But no, they decided to give us the full performance. And I'm like, you took me out of the situation. I mean, it was great to watch it, but I feel like that would have been a perfect ending for me to how to make that movie end. And then y'all could have did the whole Avengers little ending where Michael Jackson's story continues, or whatever the hell they said, his story continues, whatever the line was, and then put it as that. So, yes, if you want to see the movie, as I said before, go to the theater, definitely see it in a Dolby or IMAX. I saw it in Dolby because, audio, the Dolby Atmos surround sound. I'm a sound guy because, working in live entertainment and music and stuff, that's sort of my thing. I'm of course a visual person. I love movies, but also music definitely goes hand in hand with that. So go see it in somewhere where you get that booming surround sound. So I choose Dolby, which is where I told you, I'm the other video I told you, that's where I ran into Cedric the Entertainer. He was at the same screening I was, didn't know it until I'm exiting, and then so happened we were in the men's bathroom together. And I happen to turn from the urinal, and then he's in there with a couple of his people, and they're keep like talking about the movie, making jokes. You know how comedians do. So I saw him, kind of looked over, and then went back and washed my hands, whatever the case was. And then I was telling people, they were like, "Why do you ask for autograph?" I've never been the type of person when I'm running to celebrities to ask for autograph. I'm not impressed by celebrity fame and all that other crap. I'm not. I mean, especially me working at Madison Square Garden, I'm around celebrities all the time. I'm not really, and I've been in the past, been around a lot of celebrities, so it's never been my thing. But I need an autograph. I need a photo. There's people that need that. I don't. But nevertheless, I say go see the film. You'll be entertained by the performances outside of the dancing and the live performances. And I like the whole thing, the scene setup where they were doing the music video where they were coming up with the choreography and he met with the gangsters and all this stuff. I like that scene. There was a couple of moments in the film that I thought was great, but I just felt like a lot of parts were underwritten. The Jackson 5, well, the Jackson 4, the boys, underwritten. I couldn't tell Tito from Jermaine, from Marlon, from Randy. I couldn't tell none of them apart. The only one, of course, we knew was Michael because he was the youngest and the shortest one there, and they kept saying his name 50 million times in the movie. But other than that, the brothers were background fodder. Um, we knew who Latoya was because they kept saying her damn name 80 million times, and she was the only one that agreed to be in the film because, quiet as it's kept, Latoya would show up to an envelope opening. That was the only Jackson RuPaul could get for years on Drag Race. He still ain't get Janet. He couldn't even get Rebe. Speaking of Rebe, I wanted her to pop up and sing Centipede at the end, but that's wishful thinking on my part. So yeah, overall, I felt like I wanted to give my quick synopsis review of the film. It's fine. It's not a bad film. I just feel like you can definitely tell the issues the movie had in the film. It's just all over the place. It's choppy. The editing, it's just a mess. But the performances, you can't deny it. Now, do I think there could be Oscar nominations coming? No, not for Best Picture. That movie's a mess. And Coleman Domingo, yes, he does a great job as Joe Jackson, but his Joe Jackson felt very one note. It felt very much like you were channeling Lawrence Fishburne playing Ike Turner at parts. And don't get me wrong, that Coleman is a great actor, but it just gave very much like you were just playing. It just felt a little hammy, in my opinion. But to get into the box office now, because that's what we're here for. Michael, a biopic from Lionsgate about the King of Pop, arrived in theaters as an instant sensation with 97 million domestically and 217 million globally. in its first weekend of release. These ticket sales rank as the best start of all time for the biopic, smashing the record set by 2015 Straight Outta Compton with 60 million, and they tower above 2018's Bohemian Rhapsody, which opened to 51 million before obliterating, excuse me, expectations with 910 million worldwide by the end of its run. Michael also notched the second biggest debut of the year behind April's sequel, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, with 131 million. Now, Michael landed on tracking a month ago with estimates of 50 million to 60 million, but expectations continued to rise in the lead up to its release. The movie is rocking the box office despite the mostly terrible reviews. Okay, so now they're letting us know what it is. Now it's moved up to 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's not 32 anymore, now it's 38. But and they said, however, strongly disagree with the majority of critics and embrace Michael with an A- grade on Cinema Score exit polls. Ticket buyers were 61% female, while 66 were 25 years or older, according to Post Track, saying you don't deliver this number unless you're seeing huge numbers across every conceivable demographic. This is what Lionsgate motion picture chair Adam Fogelson said. He said they're clearly having a blast, and that bodes well for a lovely multiple. Now, they said Antoine Fuqua directed Michael, but word on the street is that he was kind of taken off the film when it came down to the reshoots, and one of the producers who also worked on Bohemian Rhapsody had to step in and finish the film because there were things that were there was some, I guess, what do you call it, creative differences. I almost said irreconcilable. That's when you're married. But there were creative differences that apparently happened behind the scenes. I'm paraphrasing, but this is something that Jeff Snyder revealed on the hot mic the other day, where he basically said that he had heard from someone behind the scenes that, yeah, Antoine Fuqua was quietly removed from the film when they had to go in and do the reshoots because it was creative differences. And part of the deal was he had to show up and promote the film, like he's been like he directed the whole thing, but you got to keep it quiet. And a lot of people, especially, well, if you're one of those people that want to keep a job in Hollywood, and especially if you're black, you're gonna go along to get along because you're not gonna mess up your situation. Yeah, this is one little blip in the road, and this is when you watch something like this. This is not technically something when I look at that Antoine Fuqua's visual style, especially when you watch films from him like Training Day and so many other movies that he's done with Denzel, and the Equalizer films. When you look at that style of film, it's like you get that and then you get the Michael Jackson thing. So yeah, it does come across, as I said, like a 2-hour music video, and you definitely get that when you watch this movie. But overall, when it boils down to it, like I said, the script is pretty weak on that, on a certain standpoint. Even this, I didn't even notice this, but somebody pointed this out. This scene right here, where he's standing on top of the car, and you're supposed to be showing New York, right? And this is before the 90s. This is in the 80s. Why was the Twin Towers not in the background of this particular shot when you show in Midtown Manhattan, right? You would see the Twin Towers in the background. So I mentioned it's like you don't see it in the background. I'm like, you do know that the Twin Towers came down in 2001, 9/11 2001, in case people would like to forget. But in the 80s it was still around. So it should have been there. That's why a lot of times I love watching old movies, because when I put them on, like if you watch The Warriors or a Maniac Cop or any of those type of films, or even the what was it, the Maniac, anything horror based. If you watch any of the old movies from the 80s and you see the Twin Towers in the background, it just takes me back to that time. It's like, oh yeah, I remember when the Twin Towers was here. And so there's that. But then also, I guess we can give congratulations to Lionsgate, because this is the biggest hit for them in more than a decade. Since 2015's The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. I remember I worked at AMC when that movie came out. Um, with 102 million debut. Now, ticket sales surpassed 700 mil worldwide. Michael will land among the studio's biggest films of all time, with the top 3 spots belonging to 2013's The Hunger Games Catching Fire with 865 million globally, 2012's Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2, 848 million, and 2014's The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 with 759 million. So, and yeah, they definitely had a brutal time at the box office, because they had Borderlands, which I still haven't watched. Then they remade The Crow with what's his name? Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs. And then they had a movie called Wonder. It was a prequel called Whitebird. Never even heard of that. But I always thought the John Wick movies made them a lot of money too. But I guess, yeah, they made money, but never on this type of scale. And then they said, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, The Housemaid, and The Long Walk were big hits for them, even though it was funny, like people were out here saying that The Long Walk flopped. I'm like, really? Because they're saying it didn't. And I like The Long Walk, but The Long Walk is something that's a one and done for me. That movie is a little too sad for me to and depressing for me to sit through. Now, they said, look, first of all, we have way too many um biopics that have come out. So they even mentioned Amy Winehouse Back to Black, Bob Dylan's A Complete Unknown, Bob Marley's One Love, Bruce Springsteen's Deliver Me From Nowhere, Elvis Presley's Elvis, among the stars whose stories have been told. And then they had Bohemian Rhapsody, which is why I said y'all done whitewashed his queerness. The Elvis thing, people would like to compare, well, you didn't talk about the Michael Jackson molestation, but y'all didn't talk about Elvis messing with a 14-year-old. I'm like, yeah, they washed that out, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's not bad either. That's a problem. Like, if you're not going to address warts and all of a fave, which we know we can get from documentaries, but if you're going to make a biopic, and I think that's what the overall complaint is about these type of films, if you're going to make a biopic, you really have to you got to go warts and all. You can't do fan service for, oh, you don't want to get the family all upset, or you don't want to get the fans upset. It's like, we all know that people are flawed, that people are human at the end of the day, and we need to explore all those sides. I mean, as far as like the Michael Jackson stuff, all weren't there, so I don't even know how they would want to approach that, which means I don't think they should. And that's why I said I'm a little worried, even though maybe now they'll greenlight Madonna's biopic because of this whole situation. But I worry, like, if you do hers, and even though she is trying to have control over writing the script and everything and developing the project, I don't want her to sit up in here and give us some sanitized version of who she is. If you're gonna make a biopic, the whole point I always thought was, you got, who is the man or the woman behind the persona, the curtain, like peeling all that back. We knew Michael was all about, I want to be mysterious and all these other things. And yes, for the most part, you are mysterious. But I would have liked to, but if you're going to make a movie based off of that, then that is something that they should have focused on, giving him a little more depth. So yeah, there's that. And I think we'll end it here because I want to get into, well, actually, no. Because one of the things that I was noticing that was a big complaint from a lot of people were the fact that, well, the way that Joe Jackson was villainized, they made him out to be like some evil overlord that was just trying to destroy who Michael was in this sort of thing, or just control Michael. But they were saying that it wasn't until he started having children of his own that he understood why Joe was the way he was. Because people were so quick to come out here and make Joe Jackson be the villain and be like, oh, he was so evil. He was abusive to Mike. And maybe in a lot of ways he was, where he would say real mean spirited things. And that's probably because of stuff that was passed down to him. He passed it on to his son and all the other kids in the house. I'm not saying that is right, but verbal abuse, mental abuse, all that stuff is real. And that was a lot of times we didn't have tools to deal with that back then. Now we have tools and wherewithal and understanding on how to deal with these type of situations. So let's get into that story, courtesy of Rolling Out. So, y'all know that he had an unconventional childhood, but for decades, they said the story of Michael Jackson has been told through extremes, unparalleled fame, artistic genius, and a childhood often described as deeply troubled. Central to the narrative of his father, Joseph Jackson, whose strict and controversial management of the Jackson Five, then the Jacksons, had long drawn scrutiny. But according to author and longtime family confidant J. Randy Taraborelli, the King of Pop's feelings about his father evolved in profound ways before his death in 2009. Now, Michael for himself publicly addresses upbringing in the 2003 documentary Living with Michael Jackson, describing a home environment governed by discipline and fear. Yet, as Tara Borelli reveals in a recent interview with People, time and fatherhood reshaped that perspective, saying it's really easy to paint Joseph Jackson as a villain because he gives you so much to work with. But as flawed as he was a father, it was for all the right reasons. And that's something I really wish they would have painted in this film, where it's like, yeah, Joe Jackson may have been this guy, whatever, but he wasn't just some money hungry, whatever. Yeah, he used the kids' talent to get them out of poverty and may have said some things to try to put this guilt on Michael Jackson in order to keep them sort of relevant. So maybe the ego was a little bit out of control. But also, we should also say like there should have been scenes where we explore like everything I'm doing is for the family. That everything I'm doing is because I want to get us out of the. This was to get us out of the ghetto, and y'all don't want to work in the steel mills. And yeah, he mentioned that in the beginning when they was at the table when he got them their first gig. But there should have been more of that reiteration of that toughness between him and his father. It was always very much Joe Jackson said something, everybody quivered in the corner. Like no, everybody was just passive in the shit, and nobody really had a moment where they said anything. Except we saw that one scene where Michael got sassy with his father, and he got the beating. So, but then it's like, okay, now I'm grown. You can't whoop my ass today. So try it if you want to. So now the article also mentioned becoming a parent of Prince Paris and Blanket marked a pivotal shift in Michael Jackson's emotional landscape. According to Tara Borelli, it was in those years that empathy began to replace resentment, saying forgiveness was not easy to come to, but once Michael Jackson had children of his own, that's when he really began to understand Joseph. Always found it bizarre that they would call their father by their first Joseph. I'm like, excuse you, is that a Jehovah Witness thing? Because I could never call my parents by their name. I mean, I do it to be funny when they get it, but for the most part, like I'll make little jokes, but I'll call my parents by their name, but I would never call them that. They are referred to as mommy and daddy, or mom and dad, whatever. But it's like, I'm not Joseph. Fuck out of here with that. But and yeah, they said that, and ultimately that understanding led to something deeper. Michael told me I totally, totally forgave him. Now, even as he came to terms with the past, Michael remained resolute about the kind of father he wanted to be, saying to this day, I won't lay a finger on my children. I don't want them to ever feel that way about me. So, and that's why I always find it fascinating that when it comes down to these things, what you do is like, you know what? I'm not gonna repeat the same things that my father did to me when I was growing up. It always takes a strong person to break that cycle of what it is that your parents did to you. So good on him for coming to that conclusion. I wish they would have explored that in this film, but they made it seem like they made that ending similar to the Ike and Tina thing. Remember when Ike came in the room with the gun while Tina was about to go on stage? They was giving very that was like, no, this is the the end of me touring my brothers and I'm moving on. You see that, Michael? Why you say you're not going to tour with your brothers no more? You know, it was giving very that, and he just kept walking. And then the bodyguard, who I didn't even know he had this big, strong relationship with, like, it's over, Joseph. It's over. Move on. So yeah. But yeah, that's all I got on this topic with this whole situation. I'm glad that we actually know that okay, there's somewhere out there that yeah, Michael did forgive his father before his father passed. And it's funny how y'all waited this long because the man ain't here to defend himself to villainize him the way that they villainized him in the movie. And of course, the family's okay with it as long as the mother secrets don't get out. But anyway, so I say all this to say, what did you guys think of this story? Did you see the Michael movie? What did you think of the Michael movie? Did you enjoy it overall? Do you share some of the same sentiments in regards of the criticisms of people were saying like, yeah, the musical numbers and everything was great, but as far as like getting it full in depth with the relationships that Michael had with his siblings and everybody else, that was where the script really struggled to bring that stuff to life. It was just basically a montage of scenes or just a 2-hour music video, basically. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. So hold on, because now I'm waiting for this thing to open so that way I can read your comments um on a much bigger scale. Onyx is in the building. Beyonce is another one. She said in previous interviews that she doesn't sleep nor eat when she is working. Virgos would rather stay working than die. Well, yeah, we do have a. We definitely workaholics. Oh God, you said you hated that Amy Winehouse vibe. I've never seen it. Now go to bed, Joseph. He said Michael and his family want nothing to do with black people as far as future Jackson. Child, don't even get me started because I made that comment on this show before about the racial ambiguity of the Jacksons and how y'all was only black when it's convenient. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose. I told you I'm under the weather today, so it's probably gonna be a lot of that. Oh, child of ghetto. Okay, so Joe Jackson was brilliant. Look at all the great artists who died. I mean, Michael did. I mean, Michael had a lot of money, but he also ended up heavily in debt when he died. I think it was $600 million in debt. And yeah, John Branco, who was his manager and was played by Miles Teller in the movie, they got they got the family out of that heavy debt. So they've been able to make a lot of money. And I guess maybe that's what this movie is. It's a money grab for the family. You said 99% people are morally gray, some more than others, and it's okay to show absolutely. And that's what we want in these films. I want to see like a shades of gray. I don't want black and white. I don't want perfection because to me it's like you're not getting the real person. And I know some people are like, well, if that's what you want, then go see a documentary. Well, if that's what we want, then don't make a fucking movie. How about that? Don't make a movie about a celebrity if you're not gonna cover everything. Sam Cooke was pow-powed in a hotel room after obtaining his rights to his music, and his death is still a mystery. Oh, because they didn't want him to have it. You know, this music industry is full of evil ass gangsters. I didn't see the movie. I'll probably wait for it to come on. Not cable chair. Diana Ross lash. Oh yeah, I did see them Diana Ross lashings. That was hilarious, especially because they said that. Well, Kat Graham was like she ain't in the movie. Chloe was it Chloe Biel or Halle that was in the movie as it was Halle, right? She had a part. They cut her scenes out too. But yeah, the Diana Ross been getting all the lashings over the weekend because she was supposed to be in the film, and allegedly, some people said that she was out here grooming Michael, a grown ass lady preying on that little boy. That's probably where all that M word allegations of him with them kids came from because she done put them roots, the molestation roots on him. One thing about Diana, she got a great voice, but Miss Thing was out here laying her low and spreading it wide with whoever she could. She was a succubi. That pussy was a succubi. In regards of putting the roots on the men, she had Barry Gordy, anybody famous. She was having kids with. Oh yeah, Cleveland's in the building. Said calling him Joseph might be from somewhere in the Bible where out of anti-Catholicism, I was told it says, call no man father. So perhaps Jehovah Witness might have to they are extremists, alleged. Well, when it comes to these religions, they and they said this bitch has not the not the Diana Reed. You said Bob Marley's. I mean, at this point, who didn't? And Lauren Hill was out here having a bunch of damn Marley kids because she wanted in that close proximity. But anyway, let's get back into the show. And we got some sad news because Megan Thee Stallion is single. Now, it's funny enough, as I say this, the other day when I was at work, because as someone who works at the Garden, um, the Knicks play there. They're going to be there tomorrow, which is going to be a great game because they're going to be playing Atlanta. They better kick their behind. But Megan was over here gloating about this relationship, couldn't keep this man name out her mouth and all this other stuff. And I remember there was one point where um his team was playing with what was it? The Dallas Mavericks is what team he's on. Yeah. So I remember the Dallas Mavericks was playing a game at the Garden, and I believe that was when they lost to the Knicks. And people was like, "Where Megan at?" Because I do remember there was one time when we did play and the Knicks lost. Megan was there because I remember I looked over on my left, and I'm like, "Why is everybody gathering over there in that little corner?" And that's like back house where the other team goes. The Knicks exit on the right when they're going back a house to the locker room. And then you have the other team that would be the Mavericks. They would go on the left side. So I wonder why these people over there like trying to get pictures, autographs, whatever the case is. They were like, that's because Megan over there. And I was like, and then I totally forgot that she was dating one of the members on the Dallas Mavericks. But anyway, so then they were like making a little joke. I wonder why she not here supporting her man, this, that, and the other. And in back of my mind, I was like, maybe they're not together no more. Didn't think much of it, just something I'd be saying shadily in passing. Lo and behold, that's apparently what happened. Because it looked like Megan and her man are no more. So she revealed that Klay Thompson, and that's with a K, had broken up due to him being out here cheating. So she also shared her Instagram story and released an official statement announcing that their relationship had ended. Now you know I came with a receipt, so hold on as I pull it up because in case y'all didn't read it. So yeah, she posted this and said, I made the decision to end my relationship with Klay. Trust, fidelity, and respect are non negotiable for me in a relationship. And when those values are compromised, there's no real path forward. I'm taking this time to prioritize myself and move ahead with peace and clarity. So, um, and they said that she allegedly caught him in bed with a groupie or whatever the case was, and he was creeping because she's out here in New York on Broadway doing Moulin Rouge, and then there were videos online where they show after she had announced the breakup that she was in tears and all that other stuff. So she's been emotional and everything what's going on with this relationship. But my thing is this is you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, and you should have known that when you got with Klay with a K, because there's always been word on the street about him. And that was funny because a friend of mine posted in the comments, can't believe that he would that these men will fumble the bag and cheat on a man. I'm like, you'll be surprised. Beyonce got cheated on by Joe Campbell ass looking ass Jay-Z, according to their albums, Lemonade and that other one he tried to put out. Um, Halle Berry, how many times she got cheated on before she got with Van Hunt, who seemed like to be the one, but she's always been in horrible ass relationships, and that's a beautiful woman. It don't matter how you look. It's all about what you bring to the table and how you present yourselves. And my thing was this. Y'all was out here playing house. He brought you over to the family. She kikiing with his whole family. They up and they eating greens and stuff on social media, doing all this other stuff. And then he probably felt the pressure of settling down, wanting to be in a relationship and all this other stuff. And I don't think that's what he was ready for. And that's why I think in the beginning, when you're in these relationships, you need to lay down the foundation of what it is that you're looking for with the people you get in relationships with. Y'all can't just be running around here thinking, you know what, I'm a player. I like being outside. I'm not ready to settle down, but because maybe this girl will help me get there to this point. You can't get with someone with the hopes of getting to the point of monogamy. You got to be ready for it. And sometimes it takes men till they probably starting to be all tattered and getting a little old, and that y'all can't be out in these streets for them to wake up. And he's young, he's good looking. I hate the fact that people was trying to use his complexion as a reason to kind of go in on him. Like complexion ain't got shit to do with nothing. He's a man with a dick. So, and I'm not saying we all cheat, but at the end of the day, we know how men are. So I don't know why people want to sit up here and think that whether you got to be a light skin or a dark skin, like that makes a damn difference. No, he got a dick between his legs, and if a man gonna find a way to cheat, he gonna do it. And you got to also think that he travels. Y'all both are celebrities. You're a rapper who's off doing these little things. You're on Broadway right now, so you're pretty much settled in New York. He's off in Texas, and of course, he's got a lot of pressures and things going on with his situation. Like what she also mentioned, she said cheating had me around your whole family playing house, got cold feet, and because it's like he got cold feet, he wanted something, and that's why I was coming up with the whole situation about he getting cold feet, meaning that I don't think that was ever his intention of wanting to settle down. He probably thought in his mind that he was ready to play house, but the reality kicked in and was something that he wasn't ready to do. Also, when she was somebody that she was holding him down while she was dealing with his terrible mood swings, the mood swings and stuff stem from the overall pressure of being a basketball player. I'm sure y'all caught on the Jumbotron the other day where Jalen Brunson and his father was going at it on the court, and his father was like, "I'm trying to help you." Like, motherfucker, I'm trying to help you. I relives good. So, and I've been seeing him all the time on the court, and it's like, when you got the pressure of being the MVP, the most valuable player, whatever the case is, and you got so much going on, a lot of that pressure kicks in. You have the horrible mood swings. You don't want to be bothered because you're so focused on the overall pressures that you have the weight on your shoulder of being that great player, whatever the case is, and just your team is not playing up to the par, and now I'm talking about the Dallas Mavericks. Now your team is not playing up to the par that you expect them to play because they ain't been playing all that great. So, um, when you dealing with all those pressures, and then you're in a relationship, and she trying to hold you down and woo 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 woo, but it's like I don't want that right now. Like you so in your head, and you lashing out, and you lashing out at the wrong damn people. And then plus there's all these other things. And then he's gonna feel in the kind of way. So now he needs somebody to make him feel good outside of Megan. So that's when he going off cheating with these groupies who don't have no skin in the game. They just spreading their legs for an athlete and getting that good for the time being. But y'all better do like Drake. Y'all better pour hot sauce in them damn condoms and make sure them girls don't be stealing y'all skeet and trying to get pregnant off it. Because these girls out here be crafty. So but then she also said, yeah, and then said, now you don't know if you can be monogamous, bitch. I need a real break after this one. Bye, y'all. And you know what? A lot of people saying that this is your karma because apparently you was out here in a relationship with Party, who writes for Cardi, a lot of her songs, that you was in a relationship with Party and you was messing with Tory Lanez and that Beijing that he was spraying his hair with, that you was messing with him while he was with Kelsey and that whole drama and stuff that happened around that. So people not feeling sorry for her. So people bringing that stuff up. And then I saw I don't know if it was Nicki Minaj or one of the Barbs or whatever, because I saw like somebody posted the Bigfoot thing again. I said, oh, so y'all trying to bring that stuff up? And now comes where I said, now, child, Nicki, I know we're not out here trying to read people on um relationships, because word on the street is that she and Kenneth Petty ain't together no more. That she sent his ass back to Queens. So let's get into that story since we here. So yeah, so apparently DJ Vlad took the social media to reveal a little tea. Hold on, because I want to pull this thing up for y'all. This post where he basically said that Nicki and Kenneth ain't together no more. What it said? It said it looks like Nicki Minaj dumped her husband Kenneth Petty, according to the sex offender. First of all, you spelled two. How do you spell two wrong? OT. According to the sex offender registry, he's now living in a tiny 800, not that tiny 800 square foot. You tried it. Um, House in Jamaica, Queens, instead of the $20 million Hidden Hills mansion Nicki owns. The rumor is that he got another girl pregnant, but that's not confirmed. In the next greatest, they said if this wait, what? He said, is this the greatest bag fumble of all time? Because it was like that damn writing was so freaking small, I couldn't read it. But here's the thing. Um, Vlad, don't be worrying about other people's relationships. But I guess when you're part of the whole media thing, and I don't particularly care for Vlad because I think Vlad is nothing more than a damn culture vulture, who has benefited wholeheartedly from our community in order to make money. So it's like, yeah, Barb's on. I know y'all not out here trying to gloat off someone else's bad relationships or whatever the case is because your girl's going through it too. And it's like, yeah. So um Megan, I think you need to do better in regards of the type of men you pick because you've been picking some real interesting ones. It's like every relationship you've been in, one man shot you in the foot, the other people be talking mad stuff about you, talking about you getting like you like landing low and spreading it wide with so many different men and all this other stuff. And now I know some people will be like, well, this is made up. I don't see any of the major blogs talking about it. Well, give their ass time. But the reality is now here's another receipt. because a lot of people love coming up in here and trying to talk about people being liars and stuff. That's the latest sex offender registry, where basically it says, yeah, it has the whole address on there, and it says photo date April 6, 2025. But that seemed like that might be an old picture. But yeah, they mentioned County Queens and Jamaica, New York. So we'll see if this turns out to be if more people will end up talking about it down the road. I don't know if it's an actual thing that's going to happen yet, but yeah, I'll definitely keep myself abreast of the story as it develops. But like I said before, in the midst of the whole Megan thing, girl, take this time for yourself. Figure out, like, yeah, just work on your career. Maybe now, this will motivate her to write some good damn music. Because, girl, I ain't been feeling you as of late with these songs. But yeah, and then they also said now, California status, he's no longer registered in the Hidden Hills. Yeah, and sidebar, I know y'all. I'm tell y'all some tea, and I told y'all this before. Kenneth Petty and I are related, so I can bring this up. So, California status, Kenneth Petty is no longer registered in the Hidden Hills, Calabasas home. It said as of late last week, Kenneth is now officially registered in the New York State Sex Offender Registry. The address, they said his current primary residence is listed as a multi-family home in South Jamaica, Queens, the very neighborhood where he and Nicki first met as teenagers. So, like I said, if y'all gonna be out here gloating over Megan's split from I'm sorry, Klay. If this story turns out to be true, I wouldn't be so busy being out here celebrating a relationship, you know, breaking a breakup, someone's demise, whatever the case is, or someone's relationship being in shambles. So I say all this stuff to say, what do you guys think of the story regarding Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj? And I was like, you know what? I can combine both clips into one because that's basically what it was giving anyway. So, what do you guys think of this story regarding Megan Thee Stallion? Are y'all shocked that something like this went down, or just whatever your overall thoughts are, or and even the whole thing about Nicki and Canada, that she sent him packing because he was out here allegedly got a girl pregnant, and she was like, "No, the infidelity I will not stand for. Now you're gonna have to go back to living with whoever in Queens, and I'm gonna just be out here with me and Papa Bear, I guess, continuing to grip for MAGA." So, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's see what the people are saying on the social medias. Mm, 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 mm. I saw them creepy clips circulating when Michael was saying he sleeps with kids because he's. Remember the Jesus juice thing? That was the closest thing to love. No, when you say that, you do sound like Chester the molester. And he's like, no, you're making it nasty. You're making it. No, we're showing a mirror to what this is. That it's not appropriate. I wish Meg all the best because she always going through something messy. Just last week, the judge denied her, oh yeah, about from the whole Milagro gag order situation. Yeah, we talked about that. To me, this was a relationship PR stunt, just like Tiana. Child, don't get me started on that. I always thought that Tiana Taylor. Well, I don't think Tiana Taylor would kind of shy away if she hooked up with any of the genders. But and speaking of which, her ex-husband, Iman Shumpert, was at the Knicks game a couple of weeks ago. Um, because that's the team he used to play for. And what's his name? Well, I guess they trying to do these little connection setups because Tiana's trying to move more into movies, and Iman is someone. I mean, not Iman, and Aaron's career is starting to head up on a rise. We'll see how that all turns out when he does when that Green Lantern or that Lantern series, whatever the hell they're calling it, comes out. But that ain't until the end of the summer. Women love dudes with other women love dudes that other women want. It's like employment is easier to find another job when you're currently employed. That is so true. You will be able to get another job with the quickness if you're working because I guess for them it looks like you're reliable. You can hold down a job, Whereas if you unemployed, it takes you a long time. Although when I had left my last job, it didn't take me long to find a new one. It took me like maybe 2 months. Monogamy wins. Mm. Well, I was gonna say it all depends on your definition of monogamy. I just feel like them two being together forever without any kind of temptations, that just wasn't realistic. So I think people need to just have these conversations about what it is that they want out of a relationship when they get with someone. Ooh, it was a not shot. Oh, y'all didn't know Kenneth Petty is actually my second cousin? His father is my mother's first cousin. His father, Dino, is my mother's cousin, mine too. And I didn't find this out until like what, maybe a couple of months ago. My cousin told my mother told me. And she ain't got my mother has no skin in the game. She ain't got no reason to lie. And it's funny when she was telling one of her friends, she was like, oh yeah, they kind of do look alike. Child, I said, and look, then the other story came out that my cousin's baby father is the one that shot 50 Cent 9 times. Why am I related to all the damn criminals? Can I be related to Michael B. Jordan or something? I got all the damn criminals on my side of the family. And it's always my mother's side. Oh wait. You said ignore my text. I think it was my phone acting up. And oh, because you was talking about that I froze. No, what it was I went over to the other channel. Now I'm doing something new. So when I read the articles and I'm looking over on the side, I'm actually using my phone now to read the articles. The pictures, everything else stays up, but when I'm reading articles and I'm trying to get all the facts and stuff, and then I go and give my opinion, I'm reading it off my phone now. So the frozen thing is still there. I don't know why, but and then I saw this other software that popped up. I was like, I might be starting to use it. I might have to get rid of StreamYard and try something else. She's a featured artist on a song by Justin Bieber that was released in 2012 and seen a boost in streams since his Coachella performance. And then she was running late to the White House dinner. Oh, you talking about Nicki? And she was mad that he didn't include her on something or another. Excuse me, I remember hearing that. Speaking of which, I heard Lady Gaga and Doechii released their music video today from Runway. I haven't watched it yet. I met Nicki many years ago. I think she was hanging with Foxy Brown. She was skinny teen back then. People used to love Meg before getting pow pow. Getting pow pow being the thing to make people turn on her. I know it was so stupid. I was like, "What is this? Harlem Nights?" This question is a reach, but did you work the next game when Young Lynn was courtside at MSG? I probably did. I've worked so many events. That was like when the other day when we got a new manager, Zach, and he's asking us like, what was the favorite, like, tell us your name, how long you've been working for the company, and this is when I was working one of the theater events. And then what was your favorite concert that you worked? And I'm sitting there like, you really expect me to dig deep in my brain and remember which event I worked? So I just copied off of one of my other coworkers, and I was like, well, I said two. I said I love working Kylie Minogue's concert, and then I did throw in Gaga's Mayhem Ball because it was a good show, and that was the most recent. So I was just like, I just said that, and I couldn't think of nothing. So, and the most recent one that I did like was the Demi Lovato show. That was a good one. There was a lot of homosexuals at that one. Does marriage even work? And my friend was there and didn't even tell me. I said for Lindsay Aguilera, who has been on the show in the past, and I'm sitting there like, so bitch, you wasn't going to tell me that you was at the Demi Lovato concert, and she was like, oh, I forgot you were. um, but yeah, I had a good spot too. I was in the 100s. Widow people in the late 40s go to meet the opposite sex in New York City nowadays? Probably a bar. Good question. Where do they go? I have no idea. Hmm. Yeah, that's it's like it was cute. Well, look, I'm looking forward to seeing Madonna drop that music video with her and Sabrina Carpenter this week. We'll get into that. We get around to when we cross that bridge. But in the meantime, let's cross this messy bridge. And let's talk about Joseline Hernandez, who's out here, the Puerto Rican princess that she calls herself, because I don't know who gave her that title. Has basically sounded the alarm against Lemmy over there at the Zeus network, the nigga nonsense network. That's what I usually call it, because the amount of nonsense that they have on that damn channel, I just don't know how y'all sit and watch that foolishness. I just think for me that I've outgrown the buffoonery of those type of shows where it's like, I just don't see a point. So your whole goal was to be on the show to fight somebody and possibly put y'all lives in danger, where it's like y'all think the answer to everything to solve is beating on each other. Okay. So the Johnson's Cabaret star basically took to social media and opted to go scorched earth on Lemmy streaming looking ass with that big old head of his, and basically said that he cut off her payments, he sabotaged her business, and even made shocking allegations about human trafficking. So and she also said she's pregnant, by the way. I totally forgot because you did mention that she claimed the network executive is trying to destroy her family amid what appears to be a bit of fallout over her contract and her new streaming app, which I will say the app name, horrible freaking name for a network or app or a streaming, whatever the case is. Come up with a better name, but that ain't that bright. So, and clearly based off this, she ain't bright either, because Lemon might have a point of why he's doing what he's doing. So yeah, this is what she went and said on social media. I think I have a slide of it, but I was like, it might cause a little frozation with the situation. So, hold on, because I was like, I meant to pull up this thing. I was like, where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, there it is. Okay, so she said I'll just read them to y'all because it's a lot. This whole slide situation. So she says, stopping my payments because I have my own streaming app and I wanted more for my life than just what I had. It's illegal and it's just plain evil. Telling my husband you won't fund our business is illegal. Telling us to take our content down, it's illegal. While I'm pregnant, it is evil. Girl, what is you being pregnant got to do with the fact that, okay, this ain't show friends, it's show business. And if you're doing something that is against the contract, and I'm gonna get into that because apparently she she signed a non-compete clause. And if you sign a clause where it is non-compete, meaning that you cannot compete with any other network, meaning that, okay, so if you're a part of Zeus and you decide to leave and they have in the contract, okay, if you decide to leave us at any time, for the next year or two, or I'll just pick a number. For the next 2 years, you cannot go to any other company and work for them because you're exclusive to the Zeus network. If you breach the contract, then yeah, I have the grounds to not pay you your money. So she wanted to go off and do her own thing because I guess she know all the bodies is buried. She tired of shenanigans. Now she want to think, oh, I'm a businesswoman. I can go off and do my own show, which probably would be basically copy and paste of everything you was pretty much doing over there on Love and Hip Hop and Zeus, because you became famous for being ratchet, for fighting, for being, having a nasty mouth, and we was all entertained by it. I don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna hold you. I watched Love and Hip Hop when Jocelyn was on there, and she was good TV. But I outgrew that. There's some people that still get caught up in that mess. And she went and said, "I gave all y'all 7 years of my life. My contract, my payments are in perpetuity, but they stop suddenly because I take a picture with someone you fear. I'm a She said she's 39. I'm a 39-year-old woman that is with child, and you are doing evil to me because you are not able to have me back and do what you want with me." He immediately stopped my payments and trying to make me stop my content on Why Are You Here TV. What the fuck is that name? Why Are You Here TV? That's what you can come up with, sis? You didn't love that booger sugar, allegedly. And then said, I will sell everything I own before I'm in the streets. This evil man is trying to destroy my family and is trying to make something bad happen to me and my unborn child. And then she went on and said, trafficking young ladies across country lines like Puffy, and the feds are coming for you. So I will say, Lemmy has denied all of this. I'm going to get into his denial in a second. But first, let's play this clip of her. I was like, do I have it? Yeah, because sometimes, this thing likes to refresh on me. So, excuse me. I'm going to play this clip for y'all so you can hear what the Puerto Rican princess had to say. And then We gonna come back and talk. Please hold.
I wanted to come in here. Excuse my appearance, but I'm truly right now. I'm truly scared for my life. Lemuel Plummer is a predator. You're an evil man, and I'm fearing for my life, and I'm going.
Hold on, why she say lemon premier like she French?
Live just in case I get my car shot up in Miami, where I'm at, because I'm in Miami, and I know you be in Miami all the time. And every time you come to Miami, you fuck with me, and you didn't think I would let the world know how you being acting like a fucking predator while I'm pregnant. You did it to Scotty the whole pregnancy. You cheated on Scotty. You beat up Scotty. You talk crazy to Scotty. You abused Scotty. You used her. You misused her. You did everything to that lady while she was with your child. Everything. You want to go online and put this fake face on. You want to go online and act like you this good guy. You're not a good person, Lemmy. You're not a good person. You're not a good person, and it's going to come to light. It's going to come to light what you've been doing to people, what you've been doing to young ladies. You harass every female on your network. Not just me. You harass Janisha, Scotty. How many times have you beat up Janisha? How many times have you beat up Scotty? How many times have you beat up those baddies?
First of all, as bony as he is, who the fuck is he beating up?
How many times have you paid these people off for them not to take you to court? You're not going to get away with it, Lemmy. All of a sudden, you know I'm pregnant, and you want to start texting me shit about me taking a picture with somebody that came to support me. Telling my husband I need to take down the network at once. Sending me messages. You're going to deal with this accordingly. Are you going to get somebody to shoot my car up like you do with everybody else? Lemmy, are you going to get somebody to kill me while I'm pregnant? With my second child? At my old age? You're going to get somebody to kill me and my baby? Bitch, that's what you want to do to me?
Not old age, child.
After all the years that I gave you, after all the secrets that I kept, because you make a threat every fucking time, after all the secrets I kept from you in that fucking network for years. Everybody doing.
All right, shout out to Chatterbox Tea for that tea, because they gave that to us. And then also let's go over to this one where we have Lemuel Plummer has posted the following. He said the idea that she hasn't been paid is ridiculous. She's been paid well beyond standard fees, along with additional support, opportunities, and residual style payments. We've consistently honored from day one. My goal with Zeus was to create more financial upside for our partners and also just perpetuate the most ignorant of stereotypes for a profit. Um, and we've done exactly that. What I won't do is ignore repeated breaches. I've tried to handle this privately and respectfully, but instead it's been taken public with disparagement and threats. That doesn't change the facts. And to be clear, I never attempted to harm anyone, especially Joseline, who could probably beat me up anyway. Yeah, I believe that. Who could probably beat me up anyway, and I've always treated her and her husband with respect.
Much going through a lot.
Oh yeah, then there's this clip. Hold on, let me go back.
This man is trying to kill me. My homeboy Sean is stressed me out, and he thinks I'm gonna not use my freedom of speech. Use my freedom of speech for the shit that he's doing to me and been doing to me. Fuck you, Lemmy. Fuck you, Lemmy. I'm gonna continue you to use my freedom of speech on your bitch ass. You try to fucking kill me. You try to fucking take me out, bitch. And I'm not gonna let you fucking do it. You stressing me out every day. You ended up having me in the hospital 2 days ago, bitch. And I'm not gonna stop until you do right by me, bitch. I'm very much in the.
He said, until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble. So yeah, so then he went on to say this whole thing stopping my payments because I have my own streaming app and wanted more for my life, blah blah blah. And then she said, y'all pray for me. This man is trying to unalive me and my unborn kid right now. Prayer warriors. Okay, enough with the whole prayer bullshit, because whatever. So what's in prayer, sis? Because with all this whining and stuff, it's like, sis, now all of a sudden, because when it benefited you in the beginning and all these things was happening to all these people that you're trying to weaponize and say that oh, you was beating up this one and you were taking advantage of this one. Sis, you was doing the same thing. You was acting like a full-fledged madam over there at the Zeus Network. Yeah, just because I don't watch the Zeus Network don't mean I don't know what be going on over at the Zeus Network and the Joseline Cabaret and how all of that was presented. I know people that watch the show, so they tell me things. And they are subscribers of Zeus. Me, I am not. So, and I tried watching it once. I'm not gonna sit up here and say like, I ain't never watched it, but I remember I watched it once. Remember when they had Bad Boys, the gay reality show with Milan Christopher and them? That was around the time and Relly Rail. That was when I was over there watching the show. After that, I was like, this network is tired. Ain't nothing on here that I care about. But I know people like all that stuff. So um, but then when the shoe now is on the other foot, and now you're on the other side of the situation. Now you want us to feel sorry for you. And it's like this situation now, perhaps Lemuel is doing the things over there, and he ain't shit either. Because based off of all these allegations, I've heard many allegations about him over the years. I'm just waiting for the Surviving Zeus um docu-series or whatever to hit somebody's streaming service or somebody's network. Because yeah, he's no angel in all of this. But this is a case for me, hearing this from Joseline, a case of right message, wrong messenger. So after all of that, she did tag the FBI and accuse Zeus of human trafficking, well, the Zeus boys, all the ladies from the network. So, at the end of the day, while this all sounds like juicy grits for the mill, and we all can sit there and laugh and kiki over the situation and kind of look at, okay, Joseline, we get it. I mean, if you are going through some things, I feel bad for you. However, you partook in a lot of the mess. You looked the other way while this man was doing things that you even partook at times based off of this persona that you were perpetuating on that network. I remember even a clip of like when Wendy Williams and her had an interview, and I think it was via satellite. And then and then she was like, "I got the number one show in the world." She was like, "No, you have the number one show on Zeus." That didn't sit well with Jocelyn. It's like, yes, sis, you are a little drop in the pond. You are not like Michael Jackson when it comes to the amount of influence that you have on the pop culture. Your show is not that big. It's big on that network because of the small demo that watches that or what you put out there, but they're not the ones that's really like the world don't know who the fuck Jocelyn Hernandez is. So there's more to the situation because Funky Dineva, media personality, I saw that he posted this on his Instagram, and we'll get into that. So he wound up posting something and it said like, you know what, that because she signed a non-compete clause, legally, Lemmy might be in the right to do what he did. So what did he say? Okay, so let me just read that here. I'm gonna just read on the thing. So he says there are no sides to take in this. Yes, she owns her show, and yes, she has the right to start her own network. Excuse me, after her non-compete expires. Here are examples of how it works. When I was on Sister Circle, I was not allowed to be hired by any other talk show for XYZ amount of time. When I was on Fox Soul, I was not allowed to be hired to do any other show in the talk show space until my contract expired. Typically, when you are a big talent on a network, your non compete will extend beyond the times you are on TV. Many times, people are blocked from doing anything similar for 2 years post being a part of a network show. If she breaches her contract, which it appears she may have, then Zeus reserves the right to discontinue paying her. Now, the alleged S trafficking, abuse, etc., that's a different conversation that has nothing to do with this one. I hope this helps. And Funky is absolutely right. Is that if you sign a non-compete clause, there is a certain amount of time that you are legally barred from starting a rival venture until that specific window has of time has passed. So I know this is cute or whatever, Jocelyn, that you want to go off and do your own thing. And it's great if you are, as a woman, you want to be out here and be an entrepreneur and create your own, business and all this other stuff. But you got to realize that when you sign them contracts, that's why you got to get yourselves a good lawyer. Y'all need to read that fine print. And Know what you're getting yourself into. So some of the comments people said, one person said, I don't feel bad for anyone associated with Zeus. Another said, well, she said he is business with Joseline. He's wait. Well, she said he is business with, I think in business with Joseline Inc., not Jocelyn Hernandez. And it says she thinks she bigger than the program. This is business, not personal. Lemuel Plummer is a businessman and articulate and that articulates very okay. I don't agree with that last sentence. But it said the non-compete probably wouldn't hold up in court if it effectively stops her from earning an income. She's not easily employable in the traditional sense. Well, then she shouldn't have signed that contract. You can't talk about she not employable in the traditional sense. The only thing that girl knows how to do is curse people out and beat people up. And y'all have enabled that behavior. If you're not someone who knew how to parlay yourself from that beyond that, that's a you problem. So if she's not employable other places, that's on her. She got to figure out how to where her next coin going to come from. So then they also went on to say no, he didn't have a problem with her doing her own network because he announced it himself. His problem is she wasn't coming back to his network after or to collaborate. Also to add cherry on top. Now that's TV showed up for her premiere. Another person, I'm not fully aware of the story, but I'm curious why her people didn't know this before all the back and forth commenced because they didn't read the contract. That's why. And they said, my job has a non compete and we can't work within a certain mile radius for 18 months. And so what it is probably that she needs better people around her to advise her on her business. That's probably what it is that she needs better people around her when it comes to her business endeavors. But yeah, so I feel like this is something that's probably going to go on and on and on for a while. We'll see how this all turns out in regards to this whole situation. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this complex story regarding, this whole business situation? Now, as far as like if Lemmy is out here threatening you and all these other things, girl, you sitting there talking about the FBI and Diddy and he's the like a younger, skinnier Diddy or whatever the case is. If this is always true, if you got all this evidence, dot all your I's, cross all your T's. I wouldn't say it the FBI, but it's run by Pete Kegsbreath and all them other morons that's up in there. So we got like some of the worst of the worst. We got dumb, dumber, and dumbest running a lot of the government at this point. So we probably got to wait 2 more years before we get some competent ass people in the White House in order to get things done. But in the meantime, if you really trying to have this man locked up, you need to take the time and go to down to the I don't know, maybe the local police and have them figure out what needs to be done in this situation because um until then, I just say keep this to yourself because what else you going to do? Because unless you got the evidence or whatever, girl, keep this to yourself or write it in your memoir. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mhm. It was successful. Too much BBL. um. Oh Lord, you done went to the yes. I always love that's like one of my favorite movies. I will always reference it till you do right by me. Everything you think about is gonna crumble. You and me, us never part, Maki dad. I keep forgetting I have this thing open in another window. One thing she gonna do is pull the "but I'm a female" card, and now's the "but I'm pregnant" card. And they stay doing. They love weaponizing the pregnancies or being a woman and all this other shit. It's like, look, you can't be pregnant and a woman when it's convenient. That do work my root canal nerve. But anyway, all right, y'all. So now let's get back into some more hot topics. And let's talk about Danta, who made her debut over there at the Abbey. I don't even know if she's ever been to the Abbey, but she appeared at the Abbey over the weekend. They sent the little flyers out, whatever the case was. They were talking about it was top secret. Child wasn't no damn secret. We all knew. But yeah, so she went down to the Abbey. It was for well, we'll get into who it was in a second. I did see that there were some people, was it Mark Malkin, a bunch of people who posted clips and stuff online. I would play y'all some, but it got music, and I don't want to get demonetized. So if you go over to my website, you can actually see all the things. But anyway, so um in addition to that, Madonna went down to the Abbey. You know, she debuted a couple of new songs off the new album, Confessions 2. Addison Rae, a couple other celebrities were there. Addison Rae sounded basically like an out of breath um hype woman with the mic, and Madonna kind of looked at the door like, "Bitch, give me this damn microphone. Like, why are you over here being annoying?" And then it was like a struggle to get her to the thing because I heard like people was getting a little aggressive trying to get close to the DJ booth. Fights was breaking out. Security had to get involved because according to Tristan, who runs the place, they highly securitized up in there. So anyway, if you can get on the list, it was a good place to be. Now, judging from the line snaking down Robertson Boulevard into the wee hours on Saturday night, many did, but not everyone made it inside to catch a close up glimpse of Chanta, who strolled up behind the decks at 12:53 a.m., sending the packed crowd into a frenzy. The pop icon, who's 67, previewed two new songs at the not so surprise appearance at Club Confessions, a one night party at the legendary Abbey nightclub in West Hollywood. And then double as a birthday party for Tristan Schucraft, who is the CEO and telehealth company Mister and owner of the storied gay Mecca. And also, T.S. I didn't even know nothing about Tristan, but except for a couple of weeks ago, T.S. Madison did an interview with him on her Outlaw show. And it sounded like it was a really compelling interview. He kind of inspired me a little bit. I said, oh damn, maybe I need to get into my entrepreneurial hotel bag where I was like, I run a bunch of hotels because I know he's got one in Fire Island, he's got one in Brazil, I think in Mexico. A lot of people was kind of feeling uncomfortable with his interview because they felt like he was fetishizing Hispanic men because he loves Latin men. And he was reiterating that quite a bit in the episode. And a lot of people were kind of feeling like, but it's like, people always try to nitpick. I don't know if it's a jealousy thing or maybe they had a point in some of the stuff they were trying to say. So it's hard to tell these days because when I was reading comments, they were overtly negative, but I didn't get any negativity from him when I was watching the interview. But nevertheless, but yeah, he is the CEO of Mister, and I believe, because he said he wanted to preserve the Abbey, that's why he decided to buy it. And so, but then when she got on the mic, I will have to say, I love you, Madonna, but some of the stuff you were saying was kind of cringe. Especially when you were pandering to the gays. It felt a little bit like that, so I did get a little uncomfortable because she went, "Hello." I would play you the clip, but it got music, so I'm gonna just have to read you what she said. She said, "Hello, children. Mother is here to save you." But she said the DJ booth alongside Confessions and Confessions 2 producer Stuart Price about 1 a.m. Sunday morning. She said, "Are you ready to dance with me? Come on, meet me on the dance floor. All right, let's go, gays. Come on, don't let me down, gays. Gay for the gays." I was like, "Ma'am, like why are you saying gay?" How many times can you say gay in a sentence? That's what we should have been asking her. So now she wore a powder pink bustier reminiscent of the archival piece she wore at Coachella that was later stolen. She rolled out two previously unheard cuts, one called Love Sensation. Love Sensation. I wonder if it's that song. Probably not, because you got to pay residuals for that. And a track titled Freedom that played like a demo and quickly became the night's centerpiece. Her recently released I Feel So Free in 2005's Hung Up. Oh yeah, because they were playing like this mother thing on a loop before it transitioned into Hung Up. I remember hearing that clip. Um, wait, where did I go? Okay, so it says I Feel So Free in 2005's Hung Up also surfaced on the set. Stuart Price, the architect of 2005's Confessions on the Dance Floor and Confessions 2, which drops July 3rd and marks Madonna's return to her previous home, Warner Brothers, kept the beats coming. Now, before him, Romy, also fresh off a Coachella appearance with her band, The XX, and DJ Mez Monty took turns at the decks. Romy spun remixes of Ariana Grande's Into You and her own duet with bandmate Jamie XX, Higher Places. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I heard Jamie XX worked on some tracks off the album. If they did, I think that's a great collaboration because I love Jamie XX's production. He came out with his own solo album, I think Was it early, the top of this year or sometime late last year? Also, I like Rami's music because she has what is she? She was an opener for, on Kylie Minogue's what was it called? The Tension Tour? Yeah, she was an opener on that at Madison Square Garden. Like on some dates it was her, then it was somebody else on another day. I can't remember who the other person was. But I remember Rami did her performance and I was actually impressed with her live set. So she good. And then also Monty teased the crowd with Madonna's Get Together and that viral hit that the song that went viral what was it, earlier this year, Thief of Hearts. So now from behind the booth, Madonna worked the room like a drill sergeant. She said, "Don't wait, take it. Don't wait, take it. Take your freedom. Put your hands up, put your hands up." And then she also was telling people to put down their damn phones because a lot of people spent the whole night recording her having a good time. Madonna had her phone in her hand the entire time. She there dancing, she's there in the music, she's having a good time. But everybody else, out of behind their phone, they got to record. They can't just be in the moment. And it's just sad that this current crop of generation of partygoers don't really know how to just feel and be in the moment and just let those emotions rush over you. Everything has to be a moment that you have to film. We get it. You were at the Abbey. You got to be in the room with Madonna. You got to film. I mean, you got to let everybody know you there. But do you have to just like, is that the whole night? Like, did you have fun? No. They'll say they have fun, and their idea of fun is literally sitting there holding the phone and recording. That's not fun to me. I need to be in the moment. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't act like, now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I don't ever pull out my phone and record moments. I do. But I'm like, I'm gonna just record this little moment, let everybody know I'm here. When the celebrity comes out, I'm gonna record this little piece and move on. After that, I'm gonna just focus on, yeah, I'm gonna get my drinks on, I'm gonna party, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna have a good time. And that's why I wish, or maybe it's because I'm from a different generation. I grew up at a time before the internet became what it became. But that's still no excuse because I do feel like there's younger people that take time away from their phones. But anyway, so the people that actually were there, which I didn't even see she was there, but this, according to the list, Lourdes was there. Her daughter, Akeem Morris, of course, her boyfriend. Where else is he gonna go? Carola Delevingne, Tom Daly, Tori Spelling, Lily Allen, Sky Ferreira, Addison Rae, Callie Uchis, Julia Fox, Lola Young, Britney Spears' ex-husband Sam Asghari, and Vivian Jenna Wilson. You know who wasn't there? Charlie XCX. Because dance floor is deep on her ass. Also, now, if we want to talk some drag race, Willem, Trinity the Tuck, Morgan McMichaels. Why you mad though? Why you mad though? I always gotta say that every time when Morgan McMichaels comes on. Gottmik, Eureka, and Simone Ye were also in the mix, as was TikTok creator Harry Daniels. But we know the Ellisons wasn't there, who was reportedly waiting at the door to serenade her on arrival. So I also wanted to say the dance floor was elbow to elbow, crowded, with some party goers becoming too aggressive, pushing people as they tried pushing rushing close to the DJ booth. At one point, a woman poured a drink on another man's head as they exchanged what probably was a homosexual, a shady queen, because they be the main ones that just don't be giving a fuck about anybody else in the room. Act like and that is one thing I can't stand about stug-offs. That's it's in reverse. Um, that thing that y'all do where y'all act like people aren't in proximity of you. You act like literally you have blinders on and you just like walk through people and it's like, oh no, bitch, don't play with me because I will call you out in a second. Or like one time when I was working the what was that? The Demi Lovato concert, one queen pissed me off because he had all these tickets on his phone for his friends. Bunch of little muscle white faggots. So they come in, they piss me off because he's like, first of all, I cannot stand when y'all have y'all phones and you have it so the light so dim on your phone. Like, can you brighten the shit? So that pisses me off because it's like brighten your phone because I cannot read what the situation is, and then I'm gonna let you know where you need to go. So I'm like, does that say like, yes? I was like, first of all, check your tone. Thank you. You're over there. I don't play with none of these hoes. I don't give a fuck who you are. So but as for Madonna, she appeared not to have noticed any of the ruckus because they said that security was seen escorting at least one unruly, possibly overserved guest out of the club. And that's the sad part where some of you girls, and I'm girls and girls, be up in the club and y'all don't know how to handle y'all liquor, you don't know how to act, and all that other stuff. But that's not all that's going on with Madonna, because Madonna is definitely having a busy week. And one of the things I will say that I'm loving about this new era of Madonna is that shout out to Warner Brothers, because Warner is definitely giving Madonna her flowers. They're definitely pumping a lot of money into promoting this Confessions too. And I think at this point, and after 7 years in between Madam X and then her almost dying or whatever, she needs this now more than ever. And I think this is going to be a huge win for um Warner Brothers, because they definitely are pumping a lot of money behind her. I know they had Olivia Rodrigo and stuff in line, but Olivia's new single ain't really doing it for a lot of people. But this single that she has, I Feel So Free, and is doing very well on the charts, way more than people expected. And now we have this. I know I was a little premature with the picture, but Madonna and Sabrina. So they have the song Bring It Low, which they debuted at Coachella during Sabrina Wood. And now they made the official announcement stating that I think I forgot to make a headline for it. But it says Madonna and Sabrina Carpenter are officially releasing their duet, Bring Your Love, this week. The duo confirmed on Monday after premiering the track at Coachella during Carpenter's Week 2 headlining set. Said, we've got something to say about it, Madonna and Carpenter wrote in a caption in an Instagram post, confirming the song will release at 3 p.m. Yeah, they're giving a specific time on April 30th. The song comes as Madonna continues to ramp up the rollout for her upcoming album, Confessions 2, her first album in 7 years. The pop superstar played a pop-up show at Fame West Hollywood, as we already discussed, and she started marketing the album on gay dating app Grindr late last week as well. One of my friends, Jesus, it's spelled, and he spells it GSUS. He was saying like, why is Madonna on my grind on the Grind app? That could be a spot used for my future husband. So it's like, yeah, she's invading all the gays. I would not be surprised if Madonna decides to promote the new album on Fire Island. That would be cute. If she actually like the premiere album release, she goes to Fire Island on July 4th and does like a big party or celebration there. Because I know Alaska has an event on July 4th. So I'm thinking I might actually block out July 3rd and July 4th. So that way because I already know July is gonna be hectic and crazy busy. But I'm thinking I might want to block those 2 days out just so that way Fire Island on the 4th, because I do want to go out there for another reason. I think it's because Alaska has an event that day, and also because July 3rd is when the album comes out from Madonna, and I want to be here to do the whole live stream and stuff. As we said, we're going to do like a listening party and all that other stuff. So I mean, from what I heard from Bring Your Love, it sounds like a cute song. But I feel like to me, I need to hear it in my headphones with surround sound, good sound quality, instead of just going by what I heard in a live performance. So shout out to Santa, shout out to Sabrina, shout out to all the homosexuals that was over there at the Abbey. And I'm living for this new era. I'm just looking forward to seeing how this all turns out when when it all boils down to it. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story that's going around? All the latest on Madonna. Um, where is there anybody that's up in here actually got to go and get in the room and be there for this event down at the Abbey? If there is, definitely drop it down in the comments, because I want to know the tea. What's the tea? Now tell me what's the tea. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Wait, hold on. I always forget I got this other little thing open. I don't need to. I feel like another commentator said, I feel in no way sorry for anyone associated with Zeus Networks. I only feel sorry for the unborn child. Exactly, the only party without a choice. Addison Ray always in the wrong place at the wrong headphones on is still best wings of the 2020 contender. Lord, people out here trying to make Addison Ray happen, particularly that Singaporean queen that loves Taylor Swift a lot. He loves making her a thing. And I'm like, and now rumors are swirling to be like, I think Addison Ray and Madonna have a song together. I'm like, please don't. Like, let us not. We don't want this to be some collaborative thing with Madonna singing with every young up and coming ingenue. Y'all already y'all gave us enough of that. But I think the overall consensus from a lot of the real Madonna fans is we want solo Madonna. We don't want her to be having to collaborate with all these people on her music. Homosexuals fighting in a Madonna complete child. You'd be surprised. And a lot of people always say, I've even had people say, like, you at certain shows, oh, you wouldn't think something like this would happen at this type of show. And I'm just like, you will be surprised. I've had fights break out at an Andrea Bocelli concert. Like the things that people do. I mean, I said this to a guest and they were just like gagged and laughing. I was like, yeah, stuff like this happen. You'll be surprised. The place you would least expect something to happen, it happens there. Who wears a diaper? I mean, are we talking about Trump? What child? Quiet as hell. We already know that he wears a damn diaper. Supersized. You see how fat he is? He was sitting in a chair when he was doing that interview with the lady from what was it, CNN or whatever. I love how she slipped to that question. He said, I'm not a rapist." I'm like, why are you saying it like that? But you are, Blanche. You are. You've been convicted of being one, and you had to pay E. Jean Carroll $5 million. So maybe in a different multiverse, you're not a rapist. But in our reality, you are, sir. Madonna gonna ban self. I said she needs to. I told her she needs to get in. Maybe I need to tag on that girl. But you do confessions too, so I think you need to put the phones in a yonder case, and people are not allowed to film. If you wanted to have like this club environment, people have to lock up their phones. And if you are seeing people with phones out recording, because this is stuff we have to do. We have people working guest services, whatever. They go and they warn people can't record. That's the first warning. Second, we get security to come in. Third, you're out. So there's a 3-strike rule. So yeah, if she's serious about this, she may have to get in business with Yonder and have people lock up their phones. I think it was the band Ghost when I worked their show. They had fans lock up their phones. It was a great show too because of the amount of they're like an extravagant band, so you're seeing like crazy costumes and pyro and really cool stage setup and all this other stuff. And when they had the phones locked up, it was a great experience. That should have been the band I chose when I had to pick favorite show I worked. So yeah, there needs to be a thing where it's like, yeah, you can't record for this amount of hours, and especially if you want to keep the show top secret, but you already know stuff is gonna get out. Harry Daniels is the TikToker that always sings the celebrities. He sings National Anthem by Lana to about well, I do like National Anthem. I heard that song the other day. It came on in my headphones, when I'm the shuffle. That was one of the Lana Del Rey songs that played. I need Madonna to come with it because Confessions is giving MDNA with the single choices so far. Well, I didn't like MDNA. Thing I actually like I Feel So Free because it feels like one of those non-single singles. It feels like a song that you would hear in the club. Bring Your Love, I'm not necessarily based on what I heard so far, it is giving dated dance music, but I'm just hoping like the music on the album is better. Or maybe it'll sound better when I listen to it. That's just my baby day. I too am exhausted by the casual meanness of gay male culture. Where do you think that comes from? Probably. Because my thing is if you were treated like shit coming up, that don't mean you need to put that energy on other people. But yeah, it's like I can't stand that casual shady shit. As bitch, when you up in here, this is my house. You don't do that shit you do out in the street with your little friends or whatever. You don't bring that energy in here because we gonna have a problem. Because I can get sassy back. I know Brooklyn's having a party this Saturday. Yeah, I'm gonna be working Saturday. Also Thursday, I'm probably not gonna respond to the Madonna single until Friday because Thursday I'm doing a double. I'm working City Field, and then right after I gotta work the Peso Pluma concert at Madison Square Garden. So hopefully there's no rain situation or rain delay, and I can just if the schedule works in my favor, I can go and I don't know. What about coworkers say? I don't know. How you gonna do it? I say easy. Even though I'm probably gonna be exhausted doing a double, but it is what it is. I saw some people say she should consider changing the official album cover to that one cover of the Grinder exclusive. It is a very cunty photo, and I wouldn't be, as you say, mad at it. Yeah, I don't particularly like the album cover. I mean, I understand the significant meaning, but the whole veil on the face and covering your face up, it's like, ma'am, are you feeling insecure because of all them damn fillers you put in your face? You can make anybody look good these days if you feeling that insecure. And first of all, the recent photos we saw of her at the Abbey, she looked good. So why are you covering your face? I'm late, but Megan seems to always be in some shit and blaming other people. Mark my words, something will come out about her because she seems to be too much. Well, I'm not gonna argue with you on that because I mean, in so many ways, she ain't innocent in a lot of things. We got what we wanted, and people still not happy. What more do you want? What more do you want from me? I'm feeling very Tyrese saying that a solo album ain't gonna happen. Duets haven't been in common. The cover is paying tribute to a gay war slogan, so it's intentional, especially since we're the ones being attacked the most in the current regime. You know what I'm saying? It's very much like symbolic to ACT UP back in the day. You said you hate when Madonna collabs unless it's a producer. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that. Yeah, the single stuff. Not you saying Peso Puma could sell a MSG. I haven't heard from him in years. He just come out with an album like a year or two ago. But they said them tickets are selling. So we'll see. I think he's making bank with all these hours. I bet he making like $36. Well, I do make he's close enough. Because I had somebody who worked at MetLife that was like a MetLife Stadium. He was like, at the when he was at the Demi Lovato concert, he was like, oh, I'm thinking about getting a job here. And I should have elaborated more and be like, okay, so you want to get a job here? Because he's like, is it the same thing? I should have asked, well, what is it exactly y'all do at your establishment? I like the album cover, but the Grinder exclusive cover would possibly look like more pleasing to the eye on streaming services and on vinyl album display. Well, yeah. Well, look, maybe the music will be better than the cover, but she got so many different variants. I already bought the vinyl, the Grinder vinyl, and I said this lady gonna take all my damn money. I already got the Grinder vinyl, and I already got the 16 track deluxe edition physical copy that's supposed to be coming around the week of the album release. So I got two variants, and I don't think I'm opening any of them. I'm gonna listen to the album on a streaming service, like on Apple Music. But for the most part, the physical copy, I think I'm gonna just keep those as memorabilia. Bjork hasn't shown her face in well, that's not necessarily true. She just recently performed at what was that event with Rosalia? She performed at the Brit Awards. I was gonna say the British version of the Grammys, the Brit Awards. She just performed there. So we saw her recently. Maybe what was that like last month? But wait, she be wearing masks? Oh yeah, she always do. Oh yeah, she do be on stage wearing them crazy masks. I do agree with you on that. And you said, what do people do with all these variants besides feed the pockets of millionaires? Not trying to be mean, but like, look, I've been saying the same shit about Taylor Swift. It's like, yeah, you buying all these versions of albums, but what exactly is that gonna do for you? And yeah, I mocked it, but now I guess I'm at that situation where it's like now I'm in the same boat. I can't make fun of Taylor Swift no more. Well, the Swifties. All right, y'all. So now let's go from one icon to another, and let's talk about. So, Cher, her latest attempt to put her son Elijah Blue under a temporary conservatory has been denied by the judge, unfortunately. So now it looks like I don't know what's going to happen in this whole situation, but let's get into the story. So, LA County judge has denied Cher's emergency bid to have her a court appointed conservator placed in charge of her son's finances while he maintains locked in a New Hampshire psychiatric facility facing criminal charges. Cher was asked for the immediate conservatorship over Elijah Blue Allman, her only son with late Allman Brothers singer Greg Allman, ahead of his next quarterly payout from his late father's trust in May. The judge said that's the funniest thing. I was always saying, like, oh, so he gets paid quarterly. That's why he gets paid like $125,000. I thought it was literally a month. I'm like, that's crazy that you're giving your child $125,000 every month and they're wasting it on drugs. So I misread it. So apparently it's every quarter he gets money. So what is it like? Would that be considered like every 3 months? Because there's 4 seasons in a year. So I would think it's 3 months, every 3 months. That's a lot of money. But me, I'm fiscally responsible. So I would know how to stretch out $125,000. I give me a cute little apartment, but maybe a condo, just use that money to pay it off once. And then the rest of the money, I'll just be luxuriating. If I was a Nepo baby, that was just, but I didn't have to work or nothing. So anyway, so they said the judge said she did not see the urgency and would reconsider the matter at a follow-up hearing in June. Ma'am, but if he goes and ends up dead, then what? So how do you don't see the urgency? The judge added Cher could return sooner if another court finds Allman lacks capacity. Well, I guess they're gonna look at because she's saying that well, maybe they need to do tests on him. Why is my phone? Now my watch is bringing up judge denies Cher's bid for emergency. Oh, I must have hit maybe Alexa was listening and decided to find some information for me about watch. Because I was like, wait, why am I vibrating over here? But anyway, so it says Omen 49 appeared at the hearing remotely on a live video feed from his hospital in New Orleans. He sat in an office chair and spoke only briefly, asking that his former attorney, Stephen K. Broomer, represent him and thank the judge for her ruling. He said, I certainly understand the concerns of Mr. Allman's friends and family regarding his behavior, but those concerns do not necessarily equate to a finding that the proposed conservatee lacks capacity or that a probate conservatorship is appropriate. This is according to Jessica A. Uzcategui, I think that's how you say her name, said of the bench. I am going to deny the temporary conservatorship without prejudice. Now, Friday's hearing came more than a year after Cher and Allman reached a private settlement in 2024, then ended Cher's earlier effort to get control of his trust payments. Cher brought her first petition for a conservatorship in 2023, claiming Allman urgently needed protection amid severe mental health and substance abuse issues. And I think from him doing a lot of the drugs, it basically plays into your mental health disorders. So they also want to say Elijah's situation has become dire on multiple fronts. His mental health has severely deteriorated. His financial situation is terrible, and his drug dependency is at its worst. Her new petition, filed April 15th in probate court and obtained by Rolling Stone, alleges she called Allman gravely disabled, pointing out his recent back-to-back arrests in New Hampshire for allegedly making criminal threats at a school and breaking into a woman's house. Now, on Friday, Cher's lawyer, Justin Gold, told the court that Allman ended up in custody after traveling to New Hampshire to apparently visit a friend and going on some sort of a spree that led to his arrest and hospitalization. Gold argued that a financial conservatorship was urgently needed because Allman is burdened by substantial debts, including a $200,000 tax bill and a $6,500 a month spousal support obligation that he allegedly can't afford. Hopefully, his health can be handled and improved. And while he's there improving himself and hopefully being weaned off addiction and getting some medication, his financial ship can be righted. And then he said he can't do as much damage in a locked facility, but the damage has been done and someone needs to deal with it. So I don't know what you could do with it because I'm like, damn, this is a long ass article. I don't know what she could do at this point. I just feel like she's fighting so hard to save her child. And now what judge is like, well, I don't see any issue with him. He seems fine to me. He's not a nuisance. I'm like, what? So At this point, you just want me to give up on my child and just let him just do whatever he wants with no kind of consequence. Like I'm doing what I can to save him. This boy is so cucked by drugs. He can't get himself off of it, like he's consumed by overconsumed, I would say, by addiction. And I know people consider addiction a disease, but if there's nothing much that you could do about getting yourself out of that situation, I don't know what to tell you. So I just say, look, good luck, Cher. Hopefully you'll be able to get you can revisit this. Well, she said revisit it in June. That's in 2 months. So or maybe a month because it's April 27th. But June, May's right around the corner. So I don't know specifically the date, but in 2 months' time, we'll just call it that. Revisit it, do what you got to do, and do what you can to save your child. But if they're saying that they don't see nothing, I don't know. Maybe he needs to get a psych eval, and that could be something that could be used for the next time you have to go to trial in this situation or when you bring up this case. So I'll definitely keep abreast of this story as it develops. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the judge denying Cher's bid to save her son? Excuse me, by getting him in this conservatorship, similar to, I guess, maybe what Britney was dealing with, or because I'm really curious of what type of conservatorship they were willing to put him in. And also, what I wonder is it easier to put a woman in a conservatorship versus a man? Because we hear how easily y'all put Wendy Williams in a conservatorship because apparently her money was being mishandled, but he's mishandling his money and buying it on drugs and all these things. Y'all not hesitating to put him in, but I mean, y'all are hesitating to put him in, but you didn't hesitate to put Wendy Williams in a conservatorship, which we're going to get to talking about Wendy Williams coming up. And also, y'all didn't hesitate to put Britney in a conservatorship. But with him, consistently getting into trouble, it's hard for y'all to do that. Okay, so I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right, so hold on. Uh, oh, I saw that mess. He said, "Did you see Sydney unsweetened tea putting her whole ass legs around Shabuzi?" Child, you already know the type of. I've always kind of felt that Shabuzi got coon tendencies. He want to be a part of that them white folks over there in country music so bad. And I saw Lance Bass was there. Of course, he was singing "Bye Bye Bye." I'm like, damn, what else is he gonna sing? And then Scooter Braun, who she is dating, was there. A bunch of other because there's some country hoedown situation. Diplo was there too because he was performing. But yeah, it was a mess. But not Sydney on Sweet and Tea. Oh, I don't remember who it was that kept asking about the authority, but I have an update on that. I'll bring that up tomorrow's show. But James Gunn finally talked about why he's putting the authority on the back burner. So yeah, I'll bring that up on tomorrow's show. Um, some people are vinyl collectors; they don't even open the packaging. Yeah, I remember at one point my parents were vinyl collectors too. Like they would have the original, then they would have like the vinyl copy that they would keep in the wrapper. So that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I think the vinyl also comes with a booklet, right? You said the older generation are very anti-streaming because it could be taken away when you own the physical media. It can't be taken away. And I think the last time I bought a Madonna album might have been Confessions. After that, I think that's when streaming started to take over. Wait, I don't think that's true. I think I own our Hard Candy too. Track 4 is Bring Your Love. Apple updated Confessions 2 track list. I figure that I mean it makes sense, right? Well, that's smart. You're saying I still buy my music off iTunes. I need to start get back into that again. Not Lance Bass singing. Can he sing for? I mean, he was in the group, but I think he sang Bass sang bass. Lance Bass sang bass. I mean, funny enough, his last name is basically the type of tone he sang. But yeah, I would say that's like yeah, he was like the bass side of the group. And Shabuzi is a word that rhymes with loon. Okay. Oh, Lord, I can't wait for this cold to be going. That's why I had to keep this show short and sweet today. But yeah, before we get to our final four topics, because that's what we're down to at this point, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have two super chats, super stickers. You can hype the show, hype the channel, definitely push it out there, help with the algorithm. So we almost have 4K subscribers, which I know is like small potatoes to some, but it's been a long road getting these numbers up. And so shout out to all of you, new and old, who are living for the mess over here on Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Now, without further ado, let's talk about Faux Shiz himself, Justin Timberlake, who there was a story that came out that he is on the brink with his marriage to Jessica Biel, because you already know they've been going through it. I think the problem with Justin I think Jessica, she wanted to marry Justin Timberlake, but marrying Justin Timberlake meaning Justin the superstar. I do feel like that Jessica gives groupie tease. Also, according to reports, that she was the one that was pushing to kind of get this, not getting the DUI footage to be shown, which I did show. We did it as a class. We brought it up on the show. We watched the clip. We flipped it, reversed it. We kiki, we cackled. We did all the things. So apparently she didn't want to get out because I guess she's worrying about his and her reputation. I'm like, girl, what reputation? Nobody remembers anything you're in. The only thing I liked of Jessica Biel's that when she was in things, I loved her in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I actually liked her in the Total Recall remake. And I also liked her when she was on Seventh Heaven as Mary Camden. So other than that, girl, ain't nobody been checking for you out here in these streets while your husband being a hot mess. But anyway, let's get into the story. So Radar Online is revealing that the couple, who will be married for 14 years this October, Jesus, that damn long, have managed to survive various scandals involving the former NSYNC star, but his wife's patience is wearing thin, especially over his mysterious disappearances. Biel was reportedly fuming after Justin's DUI arrest in June of 2024, as well as when the footage of the incident was made public last month, which is why she's left perplexed at the singer's decision to host the 8 a.m. invitational golf tournament at the Wynn Resort in Las Vegas recently. Why do I always feel like old people play golf? But Justin definitely gives me old man golf tees. Now it says, indeed, the strain he's put on their marriage is now so severe, Biel has issued an ultimatum to Timberlake. Clean up his act or she'll leave. A source told the Daily Mail there's not much more she can take, adding that Timberlake is never home despite his world tour wrapping last summer. She does everything with the kids and she's sick of being publicly embarrassed. Now, a second insider added, Justin is the kind of guy that when he's out has always had a drink in his hand, even back in his NSYNC prime at his restaurant. I forgot he had the restaurant out in New York. On tour, he always liked to have a good time. Now, when he proposed to Jessica, she basically told him to settle down or she was out. She's not afraid to give him an ultimatum, but I don't see her leaving him anytime soon. And I agree. I don't see her leaving either. So she can give as many ultimatums or whatever the case is. She knew who she got with when she married him. And there's nothing worse. It's the same thing I was saying about earlier with Klay and with a K and Meg the Stallion. You can't take somebody who likes the party lifestyle, who is very sexually promiscuous in a lot of ways, and all of a sudden you think that you're going to have the magic genitalia that is going to set them straight. They have to be the ones willing to come to that table and wanting to make the change and do all the different things they want to see in order to move on to that next step. So if you're not serious about being in a specifically monogamous relationship with you and that other person, then don't step into that. You have to literally walk up and be ready for that moment. You can't just be out here. I hope that being in this relationship, I'll move into a situation where I won't cheat. And this is why I said y'all got to get y'all whole phase out before you decide to get to the point of wanting to being a one-on-one relationship. Because remember, Justin was also out here touching on Alicia Wainwright. Whatever happened to her? With that girl from Raising Dion, they did the movie together. They was on top of the balcony in New Orleans, and they was catching. He was like getting a little too handsy, and that came out, and they swept that under the rug. And then there's been many stories over the years, even in Britney's memoir, where she brought up the fact that Justin was cheating on her throughout their relationship. But when the one time she decided to seek revenge via Wade Robson, she was called everything but a child of God. And of course, back then, because and it ain't that far fetched now, because y'all literally do hate women and love being misogynistic and mean spirited towards women. So men can go out here and be whores, whatever the case is. But the minute a woman goes and does it one time, she's every other name under the sun, but with the name that her mama and her mother and father gave her. So um it's funny how they were saying, like, yeah, when he proposed to her, she basically told him he got to settle down or she was leaving. But y'all been married damn near 14 years and you still stayed through all the mess. So Jessica also gives me, yeah, she may be stern. There's been rumors that she could be a little mean spirited and some of the things that she says and things of that nature. But you seem to be real passive in this relationship. So I don't see her leaving him. I mean, I guess if she was to leave him, she'd probably get a lot of money out of the marriage. I mean, he's clearly the breadwinner. My question is this: if you want to be married and have kids, why are you barely home? Because Justin will come out and he'll do a tour and then he'll disappear for like 4 or 5 years and then we won't hear from him. So what you do in the meantime? Now you want to be a host? We've been saying for many years you need to go on tour with NSYNC, but he won't do that. And I think even Joey Fatone even alluded to the fact of like, yeah, he's the holdup. Because apparently he think he the white Michael Jackson. He think he better than his brothers. That's what Joe said in the movie. You think you better than me? You think you better than your mom? You think you better than your brothers? Why did I feel like something Sophia was saying, The Color Purple? All my life, I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy. I had to fight my brothers. I had to fight my uncle. Like it was giving that with that scene. I feel like y'all was watching The Color Purple and trying to steal some of the stuff. Anyway, let's bring it back to this. So now, Radar Online, they said, as Radar Online readers know, Timberlake got off with a slap on the wrist after he was pulled over for a DWI following a boozy night with pals at the Sag Harbor situation in 2024. Insiders revealed blowback from the bus has created extra tension for the couple who share sons Silas, who's 11, and Phineas, who's 5. Now, Timberlake's wife for nearly 14 years is sympathetic to a degree. Well, I don't think it's sympathetic. That the sympathy that's happening here, it's enabling. Justin has been doubling down. He's vowing to fight to clear his name and worried sick it'll be a horrific stain on his reputation and legacy that he'll never shake. Well, you've already got a bad reputation and a nasty legacy with all the ways you would throw people under the bus to further your career, the drunkenness, some of the those shady things that you said and done in the past. Those things still haunt him. So for y'all to sit up here and say that he's trying to clean up his reputation. I mean, you're doing a not so good job of it. So they were saying that, of course, Jessica suffers the most because she has to be around him and his moods. It's a running joke among people in their world that he's a massive spoiled brat who was never told no. Why do I sound like that? I totally believe this. That was never told no as a kid, and that's why he's so insufferable, especially when he's dealing with major stress. Jessica does and still loves him, but she hates the thought of breaking up their family and the logistics of a divorce would be traumatizing. Well, look at the children. I thought it might be hard for some of y'all. Children. About the children. What about your kids? Will they stand their ground? I was like, you're gonna put them through ounces of hell because you don't want to deal with the logistics of a divorce and how traumatizing that'll be. Here's the thing about children, and I love that shows like The Housewives of Beverly Hills and so many others have discussed this. But when you're going through the throes of a divorce and you got people in the family that's being petty as fuck, the kids smell that. They're not dumb. They know when the parents are fighting. They know when there's a glitch in the matrix. They can sense it. Kids are very sensitive and they're far more self-aware than you realize. And for the most part, boys may throw kind of like toss it to the side and brush it off or whatever the case is. But girls are very intuitive. But I think they have 2 sons. So um in order to, I think it also, if you divorce, it shows that if something happens, you don't just stick with the relationship through the good and the bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. They always say for better or for worse, even though I think them vows is a little outdated. But they say for better or for worse. And I do believe that when it gets worse, fight through it. But if you're hitting a brick wall and the other person is not willing to compromise and you acting like a spoiled brat and you keep making me look like an idiot out in these streets, there's only but so much I could take. And I'm not just going to sit there and be the passive wife and think that, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna wait until Silas is 20 and Phineas is, well, he's 5 years younger, I think. So I'm gonna wait till the kids be a certain age and I'm gonna stay in this relationship with all my good years behind me. Now I'm like old, decrepit, and no man wanna fuck me because the kids was grown. I done tossed that man to the curb, and now I'm stuck in this situation. And now all my good years is behind me because I ain't moisturized. So then this is what you gotta deal with. So no, to protect your sanity and for the sake of your children, if a relationship is not working, don't stay in the relationship because you worrying about the logistics of a damn divorce and the fact that how traumatizing it will be for the kids or whatever. The kids will love you more if you actually broke up, especially if there's nothing but toxicity going around between their parents. So this is the tea on this in the meantime. And so, with that being said, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding from Radar Online and Daily Mail reporting that, yeah, Jessica gave Justin an ultimatum. I'm getting tired of your shit. Get it together, sir. Because if you can't get it together, I'm moving on. I don't believe she will, but this is allegedly according to this report. This is what they're saying. So we'll entertain the foolishness until it actually happens. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Hold on. Gotta scroll on. Lance wasn't a real bass, just sang lower than the rest of the group. Oh, you mean like Candy Burst? Every man wants a woman. Like giving that note. To be honest, I can't believe Jessica. That's what I said. I could when they said 14 years, I'm like, 14 years? They've been together that damn long? Time flies. I promise you, I promise you not. I will wait, what? I'll be forgetting about you said you be forgetting about Jessica? Quiet as we all have. Is that she was in a few Hulu shows. I haven't watched any of those. You said you remember that show, but she should have became a screen queen. Yeah, because I was like, after Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you should have went more of the route of Sarah Michelle Gellar and started doing more genre stuff. That girl from Ready or Not is what Jessica's correct. Yeah, a screen queen. What's her name? Samara Weaving. She got a new movie out with. Wait, who's the other actor? This is another horror movie she just came out with. Eureka got kicked out of the club confessions party trying to blame Madonna and her security. One person from every single article, it seems Eureka was the only one. Also, that's who got kicked out? Child, not a drag race girl. Well, if there's any stories on that, I'll definitely report on it tomorrow. Oh, child. Hold on. Because I'll blow the nose again. Not like being under the weather. Do not like it at all. Um, I was like, damn, now Eureka getting kicked out. I did mention that's who was there also, right? Because I remember in the list, I did write down all the queens that was there. All these warnings she given, but she stuck. Okay, that's what I said. She ain't going away. Don't nobody believe her. When you say it so many damn times, it's kind of like this current regime. When you lie to the American people so damn much, you can't believe like when somebody actually tries to do something to harm you that we were supposed to believe it. Just like nobody believed that second assassination attempt that went down at the correspondence dinner. It was staged. Everybody's saying it's staged. Even Twitter, the word stage was trending, and that his buddy supposed to be Elon Musk. So yeah, we're not buying what you selling. And in the history of it, he never went to a correspondence dinner. In the history of the correspondence dinners, we've never had an incident like this happen. All of a sudden, it happens there. I'm telling you, this administration is running this world like a literal soap opera. A new episode every day, including the weekends. Justin is old and looks it too. Not well, chill. We the same age. It's like you talking about Justin old, like we're the same age. Except I moisturize and I don't drink a lot of alcohol. Every now and again, on occasion, I'll have a drink, but I think that probably is what helped me as well. That I wasn't out here drinking like always because that'll suck all the moisture out of you. Clay to me with that big old nose was with Meg because she was a party girl and Meg wanted to prove that she could be in a relationship. I knew this shit was not going to last. Oop, I got it. The only way for him to clean up his image is to get back. Hello. And then we've been saying that for the longest. How many times have we all had this conversation? Is that the only way you're going to rehabilitate your image at this point is leave the solo stuff alone and go back to NSYNC and do the NSYNC tour. All will be forgiven. People will move on, but his ego is what it is, and he's not going to he's not going to go back. I would like record a new album with NSYNC and go out on tour. Similar to what the Pussycat Dolls is doing, but they only released one song, and none of y'all cared. They said Jessica is leaving him because with him she has a status that'll keep her relevant. Jessica is not only trying to maintain her marriage but also her career. Yeah, because everything she ends up being in, nobody cares. Y'all don't care about them Hulu shows she was in. I didn't watch any of them. I was like, wait, what happened? Because I saw more comments came in. Hold on. Did I miss some? And did. It's given Bird Brain Beyonce. Not Bird Brain Beyonce. It just gonna come across a little child. That was what I was always saying. She seemed like she got a little more testosterone up in her than Justin. The sequel to Michael, of course. Of course. But we'll see how they do that. But Lionsgate said do it like a jukebox musical because that's what people, the public, enjoyed. We'll have to see how that turns out because y'all did. People are expecting the second half to address the 1990s allegations. But some people said they was expecting it to be kind of like the musical that was on Broadway. I said, you clocking my writing. That's not what you meant. I don't think she really plans on leaving unless she is actually talking to lawyers on the side all this time. Because, like you said, she could get some good money in a divorce settlement, especially because I think after 10 years, you're required a half of the person's earnings if they got married in Los Angeles. I think they live in Los Angeles. I think they got married in LA. So she'd be required she'd be able to get half of his everything. Not just in his dry ass skin. Maybe it's due to him being white. Or the fact that he ain't out here moisturizing. We always emphasize on the moisturizer up in here. All right, y'all. So now let's go from Justin to Britney. So there's another story that came out regarding this whole Justin Britney situation. I was like, why am I on here? Hold on. Okay, so yeah, let's go over here. We got this whole thing regarding Britney Spears and, with the fact that, she's trying to get her life together, which kudos to her. But sources basically have come forward with insight into her biggest life or death moment since, she decided to go over to rehab because they said this was her wake-up call. So at 8:48 p.m. on March 4th, the California Highway Patrol received a report from a black BMW 430i driving erratically at a high speed on the southbound 101 freeway in Ventura County, according to Radar Online. Now, officers pulled the vehicle over at the Westlake Boulevard exit and found Britney Spears behind the wheel alone. Dispatch audio confirms an officer requested a DRE, or basically a drug recognition expert, and the toxic singer was taken to a hospital to have her blood drawn before being booked into the county jail on suspicion of driving under the influence after 3 a.m. on March 5th. Saying behind bars, the moment hit hard. Being in jail was a whole new low point for Britney. This is what a source told RadarOnline.com, confirming reports the 44-year-old music icon was extremely emotional. She was sobbing nonstop and having horrible panic attacks. This is what cops released, and then cops released around 6 in the morning. Now, 4 years after convincing a judge to end the restrictive conservatorship that controlled, damn, it's been 4 years? Why do I feel like it was longer than that? That controlled her life and finances for nearly 14 years in the wake of a mental health crisis, the pop star is facing a frightening new law point. Now, following her DUI arrest, claims surfaced that she was telling people she had a zero point zero 0.06 blood alcohol content under the legal limit of 0.08, though officers allegedly found Adderall, a stimulant ADHD medication Spears had recently purchased in Mexico, according to TMZ. And see, I was telling you all that before TMZ spilled that tea. That, yeah, she would be flying over to Mexico a lot because that's where she can get her Adderall without having to deal with a prescription written by a doctor, saying that Britney in a dire situation. Her life has been spiraling for a while, but now it really does look like she's hit bottom again. People in her world are all saying she desperately needs rehab and she's incapable of controlling her demons and seems to be on a path towards self-destruction. Now, the situation is also serious that some see her arrest as a last chance for a wake-up call, saying this isn't just a situation of someone going through a crisis that will pass in time. Britney's been getting progressively worse for years now. You only need to look at her Instagram reels to see she's not in a stable place, which I have been saying for the longest, but everybody keeps going, Britney alone, kid. Why you always bringing on Britney? It's like, because clearly we see her online with that runny ass mascara and them Gerber baby panties and them little tank tops or whatever, the little doily tops that she be wearing, and the weeby looking a mess, twirling in the camera, looking all demonic. And y'all think that's normal? It's not. No regular person is looking like that, twirling on some damn camera. And y'all keep saying she's not hurting nobody. I mean, getting behind the wheel because you had taken whatever medication and you speed it erratically, she could have hurt somebody then. But it's like when you've been surrounded by a bunch of yes people who are in your employ, they're not going to have your best interest at heart. They're not going to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing because then you'll probably get in your feelings and fire them. Who knows what mental state you're in when people are trying to tell you. And these celebrities are narcissists. They're not willing to hear like reasoning from anybody. So sometimes they need a rock bottom or wake up call or whatever the case is in order for them to wake up and realize, yeah, this is not the life you should be leading. If you do something like this, you could end up in jail. And the fact of the matter is that you have people who get mad when you bring these things up, and this is just me being an observer. I would rather my friends having friends telling me what I need to be doing. And don't get me wrong, I do be mad at them, and I be cussing them out. They know who they are when they tell me about myself. But once I've relaxed, once I've woosawed, then I realized that, you know what? If they didn't give a shit, they wouldn't have told me what they needed to tell me. They're telling me because they care. You could tell when every now and again when somebody trying to sabotage or be shady. But then if you have the right people in your life, and you know that they're there to try to tell you what you need to do for your own good, then those people truly care about you. So those are the people I always try to surround myself with. So they also went on to say this isn't a situation of someone going through a crisis that will pass in time. She's been getting progressively worse. It's scary as hell when there's videos of a disheveled Spears dancing in her living room, sometimes nearly nude. Those who care for the pop princess fear time may be running out. To be clear, it's a life or death situation. There are legitimate concerns that if Britney doesn't act now, it's only going to get worse and therefore increasingly dangerous. It's fair to say no one can save her now. Only Britney can ultimately save herself. She has to want to get better, but there's no real hope for her recovery at this point. There are people who want to help. Her manager, Kate Hudson, is encouraging Spears to take responsibility, saying this was an unfortunate incident that is completely inexcusable. Brittany is going to take the right steps and comply with the law, and hopefully this can be the first step in a long overdue change that needs to occur in Brittany's life, he said in a statement following her arrest, expressing hope that she can get the help and support she needs during this difficult time. So, you know that Brittany's been through a lot. She has a fractured relationship with her father, her mother, her sister. We barely hear about her brother. And it seems like everybody who's been in and out of her life, I don't know if I could say that they've genuinely cared about her. I think a lot of times they've manipulated and used her or wanted something out of the situation. So far, based off of things, I would think the only people that genuinely have shown like they may care for her is her sons. I heard one of them moved in. I don't know if both of them did. I'm assuming Jaden was the one that moved in. So, and then there was word on the street that what got her to go to rehab, because she did admit that she partied in her past in the memoir. And then she said that her drug of choice was Adderall, which made her high. But what I found far more appealing was that it gave me a few hours of feeling less depressed. So you got an Adderall addiction, because she admitted that that's what they said they found in her car. But back to the whole thing about her sons, I think they were the ones that kind of sat her, according to the reports, allegedly, they sat her down and had an intervention. And that was her say, I guess, that genuine love and support from her sons, which is something she's always wanted because you already know what she went through trying to be in her son's life, and Kevin Federline having full custody and her having partial custody, and I guess the postpartum depression, so many things that she was going through in her life and not getting the help, plus it being heightened because paparazzi was always harassing her. So that may have also plagued into her mental health. So I think that may have been what transpired for her to go and get the help that she needs. Now I'm hoping with all of this that she'll stick by it and continue to work on herself, because every day, if you, especially if you come from addiction or mental health issues, whatever the case is, it's a day by day process. So I'm just hoping that while she's in rehab, that she is using whatever tools that they're giving her to get the help that she needs. I'm not saying that's going to be a band-aid on a situation that's going to solve all the problems, because like I said, once she leaves rehab, it is a day-by-day work in progress that you're going to have to deal with. So her court appearance is next week, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. What is that, Monday? So if she goes and admits that, I was wrong, I should have been driving erratically, I apologize, I'm in rehab, all the right thing, even though I'm starting to think that maybe she jumped into the whole rehab thing to rehabilitate the image. And so for the judge to go easy on her, I'd be cynical when it comes to these damn celebrities. So when it boils down to it, hopefully she's getting the help that she needs and she's not doing all this to manipulate the system or whatever the case is. Because Brittany, we rooting for you, even when you a hot mess. And I make my jokes, but we rooting for you to get better out here. We were all rooting for you. I don't want to get to that point where I'm saying, well, that dumb shit with Tyra Banks. I want to literally genuinely say we are rooting for you to get better, and hopefully you're doing it for yourself. I mean, while it's cute or whatever that you could say like, yeah, I'm doing it because I want to be here for my sons, or whatever the case is. I hope that you're not doing it for other people. That you should do it for you first, and then others second. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story coming out of Radar Online with Britney Spears? Talking about, yeah, this is a life or death situation. She was running around with because that was according another part of things. She was running around with these drug dealers and stuff, and she was getting caught up in a whole lot of mess. And I'm just hoping, like, with all of this, with the right people, right? Because a lot of people still out here not trusting these sons, and I guess maybe you might have a point. I mean, to be skeptical and cynical, because of the recent reports surrounding, like, okay, so the well done ran dry for the child support situation. Kevin Federline is no longer getting to squeeze any more juice out the lemon. So now the kids can go over there and try to pump mommy out of money. And we go sit up here and pretend that we genuinely care about her. I hope that's not the case. I hope they're genuinely trying to build a relationship with their mother. And this is all genuine, like they genuinely care about her. And she's genuinely trying to get her life together. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh Lord. I always keep going to the wrong thing. I gotta get used to this. I think when they granted her release from conservatorship, the court should have demanded her to go to therapy first. And they should have been putting a lot of those things in place. I have cousins who are addicts. It's very hard. You have to love them at arm's length. I wish the best for her to get away from the demons. But her fans were too concerned with babying her in the hopes that she would bring herself and knife set to the studio and record music that nobody's gonna buy. Child. Shady. Now Britt couldn't get her assistant to get the plug. Why is she going on speed? That's why I said everybody knows, like, when you out here trying to do drugs, you get the assistant to buy all the shit. And then make them sign an NDA. I don't want everybody knowing I do booger sugar. So you would have the assistant do all the dirt. Black Love is in the building. But yeah, I do agree with this assessment though. That I do think that her fans were too concerned with babying her and think that she would get her shit together. And it's like, no, she's a grown ass woman. This is a lady who was in her 40s. She should know better. But when you come from a place where these people are given everything they want hand over foot and are spoiled rotten, and then when the shit hits the fan, it's like the same thing we was talking about with Justin. They in the story where it was talking about he's being a spoiled brat. Yeah, because allegedly the word was she was running out of money. Similar to Justin Bieber. That 10 million to hold him down for a while. All right, y'all. So now let's get into some more hot topics. And let's talk about Wendy Williams. How you doing? It's been a minute since I was able to do that. But anyway, Wendy's back in the news. And speaking of conservatorships, while Britney is luxuriating outside of hers, it looks like word on the street is Wendy Williams has lost all hopes of getting out of her conservatorship and is just going to focus on getting through the day. Which I think is kind of sad to kind of just be like, you know what, I give up. And I'm just going to focus on getting through the day. So according to Rob Shutter over at Naughty But Nice, Wendy Williams is no longer expecting her conservatorship to end, and insiders say she's finally coming to terms with that reality. Sources tell Naughty But Nice the former talk show star has stopped fighting to regain full independence and is now accepting life inside an assisted living facility. Saying, quote, Wendy knows this isn't changing anytime soon, one insider says. She's no longer pushing back. She's accepting it. Despite earlier optimism from her legal team that she could be free by last year's end. And that's all I'm going to say. I remember they was talking about that she was going to be free last year. She still ain't free yet. We still out here hashtagging free Wendy, but she's still locked up. They won't let her out. Now, despite earlier optimism from a legal team that she could be free by last year's end, those close to her say the current situation is far more settled, saying, quote, that's not the reality. Behind the scenes, this is understood to be long term. Now 61, Wendy has not left the facility in quite some time, and insiders describe her condition as unpredictable, saying she's fragile. Some days she's sharp and engaged, other days she drifts. It's very inconsistent. So maybe there is some truth to the fact that, yeah, her mental capacity is messed up, and that's years of drug abuse and heavy drinking. And while she once described the facility as a prison, those around her say her perspective has shifted, saying there's a level of comfort. She has structure, support, and people taking care of her, and that matters. Her last public sighting highlights just how limited her world has become. She was briefly seen outside her father's funeral in February. That's one of the only times she's been out, they said, that the source went on to say. It tells you how much her life has narrowed. She's made peace with it. She understands this is her life now. For someone who once commanded every headline, it marks a stark that sobering new chapter, saying it's not the ending she imagined, but it's the reality she's living. So this is unfortunate to hear this, but I guess then again, Wendy Wendy was a mess. I mean, she never hid the fact that she was a mess because she always called herself a mess when she was on the talk show. And we like that messy side of Wendy. But then when that no good ass ex husband went and broke her spirit and she was out here drinking because he was cheating and having a whole affair with that broad for over a decade and then got her pregnant and had Wendy out here looking crazy. And we were like, oh, yeah, she finally broke the shackles from that relationship and she's going to show, like, I'm a strong woman. I'm I'm going to show I can do bad by myself. I'm going to run the business. I'm going to do all the things. Then she started to crack. Then these crazier things started happening. Then it was like Wells Fargo seized her account or locked her account. Then she ended up in a conservatorship. Then they were talking about that her son was out here just, diligently spending up all her damn money. And she blamed him for her getting the conservatorship. So, excuse me, it's just been a lot going on her. And if this is the only thing, unfortunately, that is going to help her have some type of structure in her life, because I did worry that, okay, so once we release her from the conservatorship, then what happens? How, I mean, I said that they should put some things in place to protect Winnie, like a business advisor, someone who's going to handle her finances and all these other things, and make sure that people aren't going in and robbing her and taking advantage of her. Also, with her going into therapy to help with whatever issue she's got going on and her mental capacity. Because they said she doesn't have frontal temporal dementia. Then they do a whole thing on that she doesn't have it. So clearly there's got to be something going on for them to want to keep her in this facility. I know it might be easier to say that, oh, it's a money grab or they're taking advantage of her because she's a celebrity, blah, 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 that sort of thing. But I don't think that's what that is. So I'm thinking it got to be something more than that. But shout out to you, Wendy. Who knows? Maybe you will be able to get out of this conservatorship. I hope you get out of this conservatorship. Or even if you do get out, that there is some things structurally put in place so that way you're not just getting all willy-nilly getting back into drinking, because I don't think, as fragile as you are, you should even be jumping back into alcohol. I think if you get another sip of liquor and drinking the way you was drinking on that show that we saw on Lifetime, you ain't long for this earth if you going to do that. So I'll definitely keep abreast of this story as it develops. But yeah, that's the latest on Wendy Williams, courtesy of Rob Shutter. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the whole Wendy Williams conservatorship thing, where she basically is like, you know what, I'm giving up. I was thinking I was going to get out. I had all these, y'all got my hopes all set for the fact that I wasn't going to be in this conservatorship. But it looks like all hope is lost and I'm going to be stuck in this situation for the rest of my damn life. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Brittany doesn't even trust the doctors after everything going to her father, so she's super paranoid. I said Brittany has been destroyed. I'm okay with her. Oh my gosh. Not you saying that you be okay with her unaliving herself. I hope she don't get to that point. I just hope that she could find a way within herself. It's like, yeah, I understand you don't trust doctors because of the trauma of what you had to deal with, but if you are no longer in a conservatorship and you are in control of your life, you should be the one making the decisions on which doctors that you should be seeing in order to deal what you got to deal with. So I don't understand. Excuse me. So I don't understand why you can't just pick the doctors and have them look over you. But like you said, she's super paranoid. Wendy is another one that had all these handlers and yes men all around her, and now she's cracking. Her family is no better, but I do think she needs to be monitored as well. Yeah, I was thinking that she definitely needs some people watching over her because I was like, even if you let her out of the conservatorship, no, she needs a babysitter. Yeah, the Lifetime documentary was not a good look. I said not a good look, Chad. It wasn't. She looked a mess up in that. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our final topic. And let's talk some drag news. So shout out to the political queens out there in New York, Brooklyn to be exact. So, and funny enough, I had heard about this because a friend of mine actually knows one of the drag queens that does the Erica Kirk. Her name is Erica Quirk, who knows the drag queen that does the Erica Kirk impersonations. And so he was telling me all about her and about that queen or whatever. And I did hear that they were doing this event. And I know that it was a little controversial because I don't think people knew what it was. But I was like, no, they're it's a charity event where they're literally going to make fun of a lot of these, politicians, especially in this current regime. Because who also was there? There was Marty Gould Cummings, I heard was gonna be there as well. I don't know who she was playing, but yeah. So let's get into the story. So a gay bar crowd of over 1,000 people in Bushwick, Brooklyn cheered on the night of Thursday, April 16th, as the opening lines of the melancholic ballad We Are Charlie Kirk played through the bar's background speakers. A projected image of a waving US flag appears on a large screen on stage. So, a MAGA parody drag show at Bushwick, Brooklyn, as we said, that drew more than 1,000 people, with the Queens and Kings raising more than $25,000 for the American Civil Liberties Union. That's ACLU. Remember, at one point, speaking when I'm making fun of, I'm doing the whole RuPaul impersonation. RuPaul, at one point, they were doing something where they were trying to do stuff for the ACLU. I wonder why they didn't do that this season. So organizers framed the night as political pushback through performance and an Instagram post promoting the show. Hold on, I did not want to play it. And then it said title, I want you for Turning Point US Gay NYC. The charity night featured 10 drag performers satirizing prominent MAGA figures, including Erica Kirk, Christy Nome, and Rudy Giuliani, alongside go-go boys in US flag outfits. You know what? One thing about Brooklyn, and I will give y'all this, y'all are creative as fuck when it comes to coming up with real interesting shit. You won't see them do this down in Midtown. So, Kiki Ballchain, she was another one of the performers. She's excellent. If y'all ever see her, definitely come and see her if you're in New York. The first lady of Brooklyn, she said, I think she was playing Melania. So, NYC, I love you so much. Thanks to you, we have raised well over 20 grand for the ACLU _ nationwide. When I first had the idea to bring Lauren Banal's Turning Point US Gay, that's her name, Lauren Banal, who does the what's her name? Erica Kirk stuff. Turning Point US Gay to the East Coast, I had no idea how it would be received. I produced multiple events that have been fun and had a cute crowd, but I've never in my life produced something out of this scale. Over 1,000 people came to see the show. Over 1,000 people came to laugh, find community, and see some amazing drag. The most important thing I hold onto during these incredibly scary times is that history has shown that when the people come together, we can topple even the most oppressive regimes. The light at the end of the tunnel is hope. Hope that we will get through this together. Hope that the evil will fall and the good will rise. The sun will stand. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can pull the video up. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, so this is Kiki Ball Change. And I guess all the performers and stuff who were performing there. And I said, oh, it was that $3 bill. First of all, I've been to $3 bill. The last time, excuse me, the last time I went to $3 bill, I think it was when they had some of the Drag Race girls perform there. Megami was there. Jan sang the national anthem. Lady Bunny performed. So that was like the last time. That was last year when I went, and that's when I had that little incident where I was hungry. So and they sell edibles up there. So I wound up eating like a big. I ate the whole damn Rice Krispie treat edible and was drinking. Not a good combination because I was hungry, and I was like, you know what? You don't eat the food that's gonna get you high as like to fulfill your your starvation cravings. You actually should eat something before you do so. But I think I was coming from work at the time, and I had to rush over to Brooklyn. But it was a lot of fun. Anyway, so then lead organizer, as we said, Kiki Ball Change, who portrayed Melania Trump to LGBTQ nation. Drag has always been political. We're making it clear what's at stake, but at the same time, the show wasn't a downer. Ultimately, it's about reminding people that the things we're joking about have real world consequences, and the queer people, especially, don't have the luxury of separating politics from our everyday lives. Now, the event, as we stated, took place on Thursday, the 16th of April. Its opening staging included a number titled We Are Charlie Kirk, with performer Lauren Bernal reviving an Erica Kirk impersonation known as Erica Quirk that had previously gone viral on TikTok. Now, Bernal has previously faced backlash for the character work, and she was criticized online again after the live performance, including hostile comments on Instagram. Well, y'all could suck a dick from the back. Hold on, let me see if we can pull it up here. We'll do that. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, let's see if we can.
On the cross, our Savior said,
Okay, we can pause it there. Let's see what some of the people saying in the comments. Turning Point US gay is wicked business. Keep it up. Another person said drag Erica cried more than real Erica about his death. Another person said this is not funny. Hold on, because I'm like, yes, the fuck it is. I love climbing back at the trolls, honey. Another person put it's funny. One person said it's not funny. Another person said you didn't read the second comment. He's on your side. It is if you have a sense of humor. I guess maybe people I don't know. I mean, was he trying to be funny or serious? I don't know. I was confused by that last one. But Lauren Bernal in the comments says stop. Another person said playing not playing Gwen Stefani is diabolical. Another person said I need the Candace Erica rivalry on stage. I'm loving these talented ladies. Who could they get? Oh my god, that would be so good. Definitely need them to bring the show back and do a Candace Erica kind of shade fest on camera and do that. But I'm trying to think, which black queen in New York will make a good Candace Owens? Would it be? I mean, I was like, could it be like Monet Exchange or one of them girls? I don't know. I can't think of nobody. A black queen in New York City, that'd be a good one. I gotta have this discussion with a friend of mine. And so we can come up with somebody, and I'll get back to y'all. Now, they said drag has a long history of queer political satire and community organizing, from barroom parody to protest performance. $3 Bill is widely known as a major New York queer nightlife venue that hosts drag parties and community events. Ball Change also pushed back at comparisons between drag and blackface, saying that view misunderstands what drag actually is, adding that drag isn't limited to men performing femininity, describing an art form that includes drag kings and non-binary performances. And that's what they push for a lot when you're in a lot of the Brooklyn spaces versus in a lot of the Manhattan spaces. So it's not the same as blackface. Blackface was at the exclusion of white people. I mean, of black people at the behest of white people. Did I confuse myself with that? It was the exclusion of black people at the behest of white people playing black people on camera. So that's what blackface is. It's not the same thing as drag queens getting up there, putting on makeup, and mocking a bunch of damn right wing bigots, which quiet as it's kept. Didn't they just have a party over there in DC or whatever? It was like some grinder sponsored situation that was going on. They had a bunch of Republicans partying up in there, and TMZ was talking about it ad nauseum. So shout out to all the homosexual charity girls out there in these streets. We're living for you. And, anytime we want to do anything where we disrupt the peace of the bigots, I am here for it. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Someone said Nicki leaving her husband might be true because she's not online making fun of Megan over Klay leaving her. Because if it wasn't true, Nicki would be poking the bear at her own self-proclaimed enemy. Yeah, I'm thinking it might be true. I mean, we did bring up the receipts in that whole situation about the sex registry where every time he moved, he has to re-register. So if you're back in New York, we got the receipts. That's the T. That's the T. Now tell me what's the T. That's the T. Now tell me what's the T. Anyway, um, okay, y'all. So we are done with today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back tomorrow with more tea, more mess, more gossip, more stuff that we just going to yap about for who knows how long. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But overall, love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.